Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Landon Schmidt producing. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into this afternoon. A lot of day baseball around major leagues, but we also had a massive game last night between Arkansas and LSU in the College World Series game where LSU won after a disastrous ninth inning for the Razorbacks. We'll talk about that. Now the finals set for this weekend, LSU and Coastal Carolina. We got to talk NBA Finals, Game 6 tonight between the Thunder and the Pacers. Got to talk Tigers a little bit later in the show with Greg Gaston, like we always do on Thursday. So a lot to get into over these next 3 hours. But, Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well, and you're right. It will be LSU and Coastal Carolina, best 2 out of 3 far it all in college baseball for this year. And please stop with the Cinderella out of nowhere with Coastal. They won it in 2016. They've carved their niche, and we talked about it yesterday. You know, where do they direct fundings now in this post-house settlement world? You know, do they skew basketball? Because fairly decent to good. Pretty regularly in college football, but we know what they've done in baseball. I think most of that is branding. I know Vegas is not too much on big brands. They like to actually really put it out there who they think's going to win or not. And I think it's also LSU's got that ace lined up that would have gone tonight in the elimination game that will now go Saturday in Game 1. But Coastal, they got their pitching staff lined up too, and it gives everybody a night off in Omaha from Omaha, 2 nights, and then it starts back on Saturday. The pressure is enormous in Omaha for every team there. David Kellum told me, he said, it is palpable. You can feel it. Your team feels it. He said, you can taste it. You can cut it with a knife there. And he quite candidly said he thought the pressure really got to Oklahoma the year Ole Miss won in 2022 after the back-to-back home runs, 3 in a row in that Game 1. And then on Sunday, they really kind of wilted under it. Some teams do. Last night, post-game on the Arkansas Razorback Sports Network, their announcer was talking very candidly of they cracked. They could not handle the pressure. It got them again. I'm paraphrasing. I'm trying to get the exact sound from Learfield. And if I do, we might play it. Don't want to kick anybody while they're down, and they are plenty down, Brian. I know you got a lot of Razorback, almost family and friends, and they are plenty down. And it was another, house of horrors. I don't. They're all bad, and they all rack up, and they all really accrue the scar tissue. This one almost feels, it's the day after, a little heat of the moment. I understand that. Time has a great way of fixing everything. Dave Van Horn and what they can do in NIL, they'll go out and they'll cobble together and put together a great team next year, and their fans will respond. But this one feels like it may not be one you can put in the rear view for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it a lot, going into the postseason of, it felt like this was the year for Arkansas, as good a time as any, and to try to get that first one. And, obviously an extremely talented team. You looked at the odds, going into it, and they were pretty good for Arkansas after the first weekend of regionals. They were really good with a lot of top seeds getting eliminated. And so, yeah, you felt like it was a go-for-it year certainly for them, and that they had a really good chance to win it all. And you talk about that pressure. I mean, yeah, it's so much different in baseball because, I mean, it's that one pitch, one hit can change the entire game. And so, when you're out there in that big of a stage, you know that one mistake can cost your team the game. And we saw a couple mistakes in that last inning for Arkansas, but it all ended up leading to a loss and now an elimination for them. And so, yeah, it's gonna take a while to get over this one for Arkansas.
Yeah, historic exit. You're right. You're right about they were a go-for-it team. Arkansas fans, and they very much should tell you this. Dave Van Horn would tell you this. First day of fall ball is go-for-it year for them.
Oh, yeah.
But this one was really go-for-it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I said it yesterday. I thought they had the best roster, the best pitching all year. at or near the top of the country
Yeah.
in fielding percentage, to then have those gaffes. And it wasn't, in 2018, it was one foul ball falling in foul territory around 3 people. Last night, you changed one of about 5 funky things. Eighth inning on, Arkansas is alive today, and that big momentum, Big Mo swings their way against LSU.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who knows what would have happened tonight if they were able to get through. And, I mean, felt good. It felt, go up early in the game and take a lead, then come back in the 8th inning, strike again, and then let LSU score a run. The 9th inning, you get back on top again, 2 runs. You're feeling really good. Okay, just got to get 3 outs. And we can get ready for a big time showdown tomorrow night and just let it wilt away in the bottom of the ninth. So I mean it was crazy to watch how that game played out in the 9th inning.
You got the National Player of the Year, Alo, at shortstop, and Brian, I think in the immediacy, I think you and I were texting last night. I know we were.
Yeah.
And I was saying room service 6-4-3. Let me slow down on that a little bit. A good friend of mine is very measured, and he always says, he said, Brett, how can you tell me that you like college baseball, but the routine is never routine?
Right.
I said, well, you're right, and I say that on and off there.
Yeah.
About everything I say on there, I say to somebody off there, and then some. and it's one of the things that and I'm a snoot about big league baseball, this show, but it's one of the things that often that pop up to the catcher, kind of over in the on deck circle, that I watched Yadier Molina play forever, that he could have caught it in his back pocket.
Right.
He didn't even need his catcher. He could have caught it with his face mask. He could have caught it with a shin guard if he had needed to.
Yeah.
It's a mystery a lot of times at the upper reaches of college baseball. Well, there's a reason for that. They're 19, even though they're all highly paid now, I understand that, but they're still 19, 20, 21. They're not sharply honed, fine-tuned engines like when I turn on the Cardinals and Yankees and the Cubs and the Rangers and the Dodgers and the Braves and all the big league teams. So how do we'll never know. So he goes to third with it. That did get the second out. They were just wanting outs.
Oh, yeah.
That gets the second out. Who are we to say that on the transfer at second, he gets him out at second, and on the transfer, the second baseman throws it 20 foot over the first baseman's head, as we often see.
Yeah, no, it definitely could happen.
It definitely could happen.
Yeah.
Runner at third would have scored. The runner at first would have been on second and still alive. So you don't know. So I'm slowing down on it was room service. But I think you still got to try.
I was about to say, I'd maybe slow down it being room service. I don't care if it's a bang play or if you're going to be late going to first, you're going. I'm still trying the double play. I'm trying to get those 2
you
out.
try 6.
Yeah, I try to get that double play and try to get out of the inning. Because you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, you go for the double play. If you're late, if something goes awry, maybe that runner on third scores. But you still are. You would. At the very least, you would think you would get that out at second, so you still have 2 outs. But I would definitely always try to go for that double play.
I don't want to be too over the top. I really don't. Okay, I know Arkansas fans are hurting. All right, I talked about the 19, 20, and 21-year-olds, and they're all being paid. And I think in the criticism game now, fair game. I don't think it should be anything outlandish, but look, you're being paid very well, and you shop school to school, and you decided to come here for the check. We know that in all the sports now. The adults, though, who've always been paid, like the head coach, like Dave Van Horn, he did not have a very flattering end of the game either. I thought some of the pressure got to him.
Sure.
It has gotten to him before. I think he shows it. And we know it all flows downhill.
Oh, yeah. No, it definitely does. It starts with the head coach. I think you're right. I think, pressure doesn't just get to players a lot of times. It gets to that coach as well. And, certainly when you're in that type of moment, and obviously he knows about those demons of Arkansas past, and, you see one of those mistakes happen, you see it start to snowball, you get a little tight if you're the head coach, I think. And so, yeah, I definitely think you could have seen that last night.
Worst demon, 2018 ball falling. They were just that game wins the championship.
That's right.
Or last night,
Yeah,
worst demon.
Definitely the one to win the championship. I mean, it's who knows what. I mean, we could be talking about you win that game last night and then still go out tonight and get killed by LSU,
Right.
and you're still out. I mean,
Could be 12 to 1.
sure,
We don't know.
we just have no idea. That was to win it all. I mean, that was.
And you could catch it with Yadier Molina's
Exactly,
catching mask.
Exactly. I mean, it was one of those that will live on in history of college baseball. Of the, would have, could have, should have, should have gotten that one.
I had a friend of mine last year that was just incensed. I mean, he was wanting everybody in the athletics department at Fayetteville fired after Arkansas exited early to SEMO in the regional round at Baum Walker.
Yep.
And I told him, I said, I think it's being a little much. I mean, he was after everybody. I mean, just fire everybody. And I said, I think it's being a little much. But I said it on these airwaves. The next College World Series, whether it's regional round, super regional, or definitely in Omaha, that Dave Van Horn has that gaff moment. We might need to have another conversation.
Yeah.
Not today, but not in 6 weeks either, because if you don't win it this year, when you gonna win it?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's one we talked about a lot. But they've done everything but win it all. And obviously you got to give them credit for getting this far. But
sure do.
Again, like you said, they aren't getting to fall saying, all right, we'll see where we're at in I'm
gonna paraphrase LeBron. We're chasing dog piles.
Yeah, exactly.
And Arkansas, notably, everybody knows they haven't had one. I would also let Arkansas, not fans, a lot in the Arkansas media, not our friend Ty, not our friend Trey. In fact, we don't have any of these people on really for this very, pardon the pun, bombastic reaction that they sometimes can have in their idea of themselves. Regardless of who it is, winning a College World Series, I think, is the hardest thing to do in all of sport. I've said that before I ever even paid attention, really, to college baseball. I've been saying it 25, 30 years. I think the second hardest thing in all of sports to win is the U.S. Amateur in golf. Maybe instead of ridiculing and poking at teams in this area, being Mississippi State and Ole Miss, maybe instead of constantly wanting to humiliate and dig at them, maybe you should at least concede that they did have dog piles in Omaha.
Yeah, they've done it all. They have that trophy.
Instead of jamming Omahogs down everybody's collective throat. Yeah. That should be retired until you win one.
Maybe,
do you think?
Maybe that's what breaks the curse. Maybe you retire that, you get it out of there, and then maybe that is what breaks it. Because something's got to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know what breaks a curse. Go up and maybe send some people from the Arkansas baseball team up to Chicago and ask them what broke the curse. And
check with the Red Sox.
Yeah, check with the Red Sox. Check with the Cubs.
Took a bloody sock in Boston.
Check with somebody. I don't know. We need to go on a tour here and figure out how to break a curse, and then maybe.
I know you kid, and I know a lot, and I've been around a lot of Arkansas fans today, and in conversations with a lot, and I've tried to be very friendly about it, but I'm hearing a lot of cursed, voodoo dolls, weird, all this. Brian, you know what all that is? When you're talking, that's all coulda, shoulda, excuse stuff.
It's excuses for sure.
And I think also in that list of giving people credit, give LSU credit. They find a way to win those games. Brian, I swear I was watching that game last night, and I said, this is the baseball version of when Ole Miss goes to Tiger Stadium and plays football. Yeah. I lived it last October. When you feel like you're better, when you feel like you shoulda, coulda, when you feel cursed, when you feel like who's sticking that pin in the voodoo doll? Who's doing this to me? Why? Yeah. Why us? Yeah. Why can't we win down here? That LSU and those great fans find a way.
They do. They rally behind their guys, and those teams, they don't quit. And you saw that last night. You see it a lot in football. So it was a weird one last night in Omaha. And we got a busy show. Speaking of Omaha, we're going to go there in our next segment. So let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Clayton Collier from WOWT6 News in Omaha. He's going to join us, talk College World Series. We'll get his thoughts on what happened last night, the games he has seen in Omaha, and now this finale, Coastal Carolina and LSU. We'll get all his thoughts on that in our next segment. 3:45, we'll stick with the baseball conversation, but we'll move to Major League Baseball. A lot of day games today. Cardinals and White Sox playing game 1 of 2 for the day. A doubleheader after last night's game got postponed. A lot of rain all across the country yesterday. A lot of postponed games, a lot of delayed games. So we're getting a little extra baseball on the slate this afternoon. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He'll join us to talk the NBA. We got to talk NBA Finals. We got to get his thoughts on what the Grizzlies did Sunday morning, trading Desmond Bane to Orlando. Might get some draft thoughts with him now that the Grizzlies are magically in the first round. And we got to talk about Ace Bailey with him. It was reported last night by Jonathan Gavoni that he has canceled his visit with the Philadelphia 76ers, his only scheduled visit to any team in the NBA. So definitely weird stuff with Ace Bailey. We'll do that at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll talk about the NBA Finals and what we expect to see in Game 6 tonight for the Pacers and the Thunder. It looks like Tyrese Halliburton will give it a go tonight in this win, or stay home, as Brett called it yesterday. A big game for the Pacers. Looks like he'll give it a go. We'll talk about that at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us to talk Tigers. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Moe's and Humdinger's Crunch Time. Well, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. It's pool time, and Family Leisure is already booking pool installs for 2025. Buy now and get on the list for your pool installation. 2024 pools starting at $19.99 installed, with liner starting at $299, and right now, all pool accessories are up to 20% off. 5 to 6 person hot tubs starting at $69.99, with swim spas and cold plunge tubs now $2,000 off. Don't forget about patio furniture. Select sets up to 50% off, and if you mention this ad, get free installation only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We are Sportstime. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling the Sissy's Log Cabin text or talk number. That's 901-360-8255. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. Always from our Family Leisure studios, and it's always pool season at Family Leisure, but you go out there in that swelter hot box today. It's really pool season at Family Leisure. This hour of our show, he's Brian, I'm Brett. Our producer is Landon Schmidt, and this hour of our show is brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2025 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call Lexus at 901-334-9673, but stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway, the only Lexus dealership in town, and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2025 flagship LS 500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the safe luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be Game 6 of the NBA Finals later tonight in Indianapolis, and we know the big story that everyone is keeping an eye on. Will Tyrese Halliburton play? It looks like he is going to give it a go tonight in a must-win game for the Indiana Pacers. And what does that mean? How do the Thunder go about defending him and putting pressure on him? Because there's no way he's 100% out there, anywhere close to 100% tonight. We talked about the last game where in the second half when they saw that he was very limited, that he was hurting and had that injury, they put Lou Dort on him and made life absolutely miserable for him. Do they do that again tonight to really just take him out of the equation completely? It's going to be something to watch later tonight. How effective is he out there? We saw just nothing from him in the last game.
It's more effective than availability now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I said earlier today to somebody that I gave it like a 95% chance he's playing. He's not going to miss a game, a win or go home game. but can he do anything? And the thing about Tyrese Halliburton is it's not just scoring for him. It's facilitating, it's rebounding. He does a lot of things extremely well. But they were able to take him out of that in the second half in the last game. And so can they do that again tonight? We talked about how good that defense was for OKC in the last game. Specifically what they were able to do with live ball turnovers and generating those and getting points off turnovers. I believe 32 points off turnovers in that game. And how they defended the paint and the rim in that last game. Really impressive stuff. So it feels like going to be a defensive game for OKC tonight to try to get this win. Try to win on the road, but in Indiana, they're going to look to that bench, see if they can have some heroics once again from one of those guys off the bench, try to extend this to a 7th game.
My top story was the cruel and unusual manner that Arkansas had to pack up this morning and make an exit out of Omaha after losing that game last night. One of the all-timers on the cruel and unusual list. It was so cruel and unusual. I think The Hague outlawed that as torture treatment about 80 years ago. You wouldn't allow that at Guantanamo.
Certainly not.
It was so cruel. 2018 and Omaha's up there. Heck, just 3 months ago, Cal's choke against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of getting a little bit forgotten, the Sterner stumble. But all those began December 6, 1969, when Coach Broyles did not send Bill McClard out for a routine field goal that would have made it 17-8 late against the Texas Longhorns. Missed instead of trying the field goal, threw into the end zone, intercepted out the 20. Texas goes on the long march, wins at 15-14, basically at the buzzer. This should make Razorback fans appreciate something, though. And I mean this seriously and sadly. I'm now shocked 31 years ago in Charlotte that Scotty Thurman went in against Duke.
Well, yeah. It's kind of, the trend is there, and that certainly doesn't fit the trend.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, it is this Kevin Durant saga in Phoenix. It feels like every day we're getting little tidbits about what's going on as they look to trade them. The reports that came out from Phoenix, from sources within the Phoenix organization, is that they want him out and on another team by the trade deadline. Well, now we're less than a week away, or not trade deadline, draft night. We're less than a week away from the draft, and still it feels like nothing yet for Kevin Durant. It feels like the Suns have put themselves in a really bad position with this. They've made it known that they cannot win with the current big three that they have. Well, Devin Booker's not going anywhere. They've made it clear that he's the centerpiece there. Bradley Beal won't go anywhere because of his no trade clause. And so Kevin Durant is the odd man out. And they made it very clear that they are ready to move him. But then they say that the offers they're receiving from these teams aren't good enough for what they want in return. They're seeming a little desperate. And then on top of all of that, they're saying, hey, Kevin Durant, we're going to work with you and we're going to get you to a team that you want to play. So you've seen Minnesota has offered some things that it seems like Phoenix likes. Toronto has offered some things that Phoenix seems to like. Kevin Durant doesn't want to play there. So this is a big story for the NBA offseason that can start shaping what this offseason looks like. And it feels like within the next week, we should have some answers. But it feels like Phoenix has put themselves in a really bad, a really desperate spot here, trying to get rid of Kevin Durant. Last night, we got some reports saying that neither San Antonio nor Houston, the two teams that Kevin Durant has made it clear he would love to play for, that they are having some pause on do they really want to give up as much of what Phoenix is wanting in return for a player that's going to be 37 in September. So does not 37. Feel like it's getting up there, Brett. That's adding some candles to the cake if you're a basketball player. So I don't know what's going to happen with Kevin Durant, but it's not a good situation for Phoenix.
Brian, a good friend, a Tennessee fan, texted me. He said, hey, on that list of telling Arkansas to give credit to, you left out Tennessee. Nobody but big Orange fans giving Vitello credit for anything. Sorry. So I kid, yeah. Tennessee fans. I kid. So I add Tennessee with State and Ole Miss. My not top story, Oklahoma City could win it all tonight on the road. Brace yourself, Oklahoma City. Everyone may stay out, past 10:30, 10:45 in Oklahoma. Well, that's stereotyping, isn't it?
Sure is.
I mean, don't go crazy out there in Oklahoma City. I don't think there's going to be any looting, rioting concerns in OKC tonight. You can't top these Stanley Cup sellies, though, can you?
No, not at all.
Boy, they are epic. Okay, years ago, I thought the goggles and the face mask and all that had gotten a little much in some of these post-game locker room celebrations. All the tarps up. But this hockey celebration that they're still on, it's pure debauchery.
Oh, it's awesome. It's great. It is.
If that's not public drunkenness, what is public drunkenness?
I think we make an exception.
I think I've been cited for a lot less.
I believe it. I
know John Harden has.
Oh no, I guarantee that. I saw one video. I forget.
John didn't need that straight, did he? That wasn't fair, was it?
Hey, it's okay. Darian threw a stray at me earlier this week on John's show. So I mean,
really,
it's okay.
To both of us.
He goes. I think Landon can maybe dunk, but I know Bryant can't dunk. I wasn't even here to defend myself. What are we doing?
Come on, Darian.
What are we doing? I didn't.
Hey, I caught that straight too.
Yeah, I'm
Man,
sitting.
when did the sharp elbows come out at W? You know what all this is, Brian?
It's from Golf Picks.
No, June.
Oh yeah, no,
June
that's
does
right.
it to us.
I thought that
Makes us all nuts.
The bad energy from Golf Picks it just spread across the building.
That's June too.
I'm telling you, Brett, I'm sitting at a coffee shop and I'm getting some work done and I'm listening to John's show and all of a sudden I hear Darren say,
You catch a stray.
I don't think Brian can dunk. I immediately pick up my phone. I'm taking it to Darren like, what do you mean I can't dunk? I mean, he's right.
Why are you dragging me into this?
He's not wrong. I can't dunk, but still, I didn't need that yesterday. So.
It's June.
It is June. Speaking of the hockey celebration, I saw a video. I forgot which one of the Panthers players it was, but was going around his neighborhood at 5 o'clock in the morning, ringing doorbells, telling him to come out and celebrate with the cup. I mean, that's
again. If that's not public drunkenness,
it's incredible.
I think I would be cited for that, even if I wasn't drunk. Going to neighbor to neighbor.
You'd get to one house and immediately a squad car would pull up. Those guys are going up and down streets, showing everybody the cup. It is glorious. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's get to our first break, and when we return, we're heading up to Omaha. Clayton Collier from WOWT 6 News up in Omaha. He'll join us, talk the College World Series. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
That's the whole point. It's a secret.
Why does Central Barbecue feel like they have to keep the ingredients of their dry rub a secret?
Because it's just that good. If people could find out the ingredients in Central Barbecue's dry rub, they could reverse engineer it and make their own Central Barbecue dry rub.
Reverse engineer? These aren't state secrets.
They may as well be. This is serious business. Central Barbecue already tells everybody that they slow smoke their meat for a full 24 hours over hickory and pecan and that there's never any sauce in the pit. They're giving away too much information as it is.
They're not giving away secrets. It's advertising. They're boasting about those things.
You are so naive.
It's time for fun, family, and fabulous prizes at the 67th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 15th through 21st. Golfers can win cash and prizes every night, along with the chance to win $25,000 toward a City Auto vehicle purchase select nights. Then a chance to win $1 million the final night. Plus, there are cornhole tournaments every night with cash and prizes. Friday and Saturday nights, there are kids' carnival rides and 2 to 4 Saturday children's golf. So golfers, grab your clubs. Cornholers, practice your aim. Families, bring the kids. Memphis, there's something for everyone. You're invited to the biggest party of the year at St. Louis Church, 203 South White Station Road. The 67th Annual St. Louis Hole-in-One Charity Festival, Sunday through Saturday, June 15th through 21st. Fun, family, and fabulous prizes all week as you help raise funds supporting youth programs at St. Louis Church.
All 650 acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year. K4 SE 137 210, MSRP 24 340, K5 S 536 6209, MSRP 29 170, Sportage SG 271 17 55, MSRP 34 115, Telluride SG 66 2001, MSRP 41 060. Must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 07220.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear the Gossett Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event is on now at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
It sure is, Randy, and listen to this. I've got a 2025 Kia K4 LXS at $150 a month. That's $5 a day for a new ride. 2025 Kia K5 LXS, $265 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage X-Line, $275 a month. Plus 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive, $359 per month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty in the all-new 2026 EV9 with 72 months and 3.49 available.
So if you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called God Hopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Steady flow of traffic right now on 40 eastbound as you come past Sycamore View Road. All that traffic making its way out towards Germantown Parkway into Fayette County. Not bad right now on 240 getting on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Now that's going to get busier probably the next 20-30 minutes coming past Mount Moriah. Hey, Dandelions Crabgrass Lawn Solution says give them a call here in Memphis. That telephone number is 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studios. And joining us now to talk the College World Series, Clayton Collier from WOWT 6 News in Omaha. Clayton, thanks so much for joining us. How has the last week been? We talked to you about a week ago, kind of previewing what was going on in Omaha, but what has this last week of games been like?
Guys, I haven't slept in weeks. I'm running on caffeine and adrenaline at this point. I can't wait.
It works.
Sure does.
It works, and we've got 2, maybe 3 more games and a fantastic matchup. When I was on the radio with you guys last week, I think I said, Coastal Carolina, that side of the bracket looked pretty open, where the LSU, Arkansas, UCLA, Murray State, it was kind of a question mark there. But, Coastal Carolina, they came in a D1 record with 23-game win streak in a row going into CWS. That had never happened before. They're now at 26. They're red hot. And then on the other side, you got LSU, who, history repeating itself from 2 years ago. They have that 11th inning walk-off to send them into the finals when they ultimately won the championship in 2023. Almost 2 years to the day, they turn around and they get a walk-off in the 9th yesterday against Arkansas to move on this time.
Yeah, I just crazy. That game last night between LSU and Arkansas was incredible. I mean, what was your reaction to seeing just how that 9th inning unfolded? I mean, Arkansas goes up 2 runs in the top of the 9th. They're feeling really good about extending this to another night, and then you saw what happened in the bottom of the 9th. LSU gets it right back. What was that reaction like last night, and what did you see in that bottom of the 9th inning from Arkansas?
Well, that game ended right about 9:40, and I hit at 10 o'clock with highlights, so my first thought was I got some reworking to do on the highlights. But, no, I mean, you see the resiliency, right? I mean, Arkansas, had the chopper to third that ended up with the errant throw to first, allowed 2 to score, so they go up 1. Jared Jones comes up. It's a monster home run to tie the game there. Arkansas, top of the 9th, scores 2, makes it 5-3, and then you get that fly ball and you think, wow, this is over. Okay, we're going to see you tomorrow night. And then, Davalon unfortunately has that play where it skips off into left field, tied game there. And even then, Bear Jones comes up, rips that liner. Cam Kojal, the Omaha native, his dad's a groundskeeper, the second baseman there. He's a groundskeeper at Charles Schwab Field. It's a terrific story. The old stadium, Rosenblatt, when that closed, his dad took pieces of the old Rosenblatt and built a wiffle ball park for his sons out on a farm in rural Nebraska. So I mean, this guy lives and breathes the College World Series. He's that close, manages to leap, get a glove on that ball in that spot, couldn't quite wrangle it there. It was just above his reach. But my goodness, what a finish there. Painful for Arkansas, obviously, shades of 2018 there a little bit with some of the miscues there in the ninth. Just a painful way for that to go. And Dave Van Horn, the 10 CWS appearances between Nebraska and Arkansas, most active among any college baseball coaches. Unfortunately, just coming up for him a bit short of that second CWS finals appearance with the Hogs. But for LSU, my goodness, you talk about momentum. And guys, I am so excited about this matchup between Coastal and LSU.
It really is a great matchup. And Brian, I swear, Clayton, you must give LSU the credit. They always find a way in a lot of sports, football and baseball particularly, to stage those comebacks and win those wild ones. So you were getting ready. Were you doing your sports live from the stadium or back in the studio? Did you get any access to Arkansas post game?
Yeah. We weren't in there for Arkansas because I was running out on outside the stadium. We have a perch there that I was doing highlights from, so I pretty much cut and ran. I'm sure the mood was low there. That was a tough way to go, especially Davalon, a guy who's going to go in the draft this year for his Arkansas career to end that way. That was there were LSU guys that one of our cameramen were talking to that were talking about how you feel for them in that spot. But on unfortunately the painful other side of baseball, and what's great about the College World Series can also be really painful, is the moment that you lose, you walk out into out of the ballpark and you're at Omaha Baseball Village and you see all the merch tents, and suddenly they're throwing all those eliminated teams out in front of the tents on racks with a 50% off sign. By the moment you're eliminated, they're out there and ready. So, by the time you're walking out to the ballpark, you can already see all the merch tents hauling all the Hogs gear out onto those racks, and it's a painful sight if it's one of your teams for sure.
Boy, that is a tough walk of shame this morning, having to load up and head out of there while they know that they had a chance. Clayton, I think 8-12 for Dave Van Horn now at Arkansas when he gets to the Omaha level. I said earlier, if he didn't win it this year, when are you going to? That 2018 experience and this year with this loaded team, it's hard to just keep reloading like that, isn't it?
It is hard. It's not an easy place to get back to. There are programs that do it regularly, but that's because it's hard. They still manage to do it, but a lot of teams, they work their whole lives to get there. You look at a program like Murray State, for example, that was finally able to reach that point. They're hopefully will be able to build some momentum and make that more of a regular thing. But the fact that you came that close, it's tough because you always have to wonder, when is the next time going to be. Dave Van Horn's a fantastic coach. It's just unfortunate that he hasn't been able to quite have that moment all the way in the glory yet. And what is he, 64? A lot of the time, coaches kind of start to look towards, the end closer to the beginning. But, if he's committed there, he knows how to run a quality program, that's for sure. But, if he finally comes over the top, it'd be a great sight to see for college baseball. But, you look at Jay Johnson, for example, for this matchup for this weekend. He was in his first year at Arizona in 2016, and he was coaching on the other side of the field when Coastal Carolina got to celebrate their first championship. He got his chance in 2023, managed to win with the team, and he was talking today about how he was thinking about his Arizona players back then. Even that he was in a new program, just, he was texting them saying, hey, this is, I'm thinking about you while I'm celebrating out on that field. And you just don't know how many chances you're going to get, or if another one will ever come. But, Dave Van Horn certainly, I wouldn't put it past him to be able to get it done.
You mentioned that Coastal Carolina team. The storyline kind of going into the tournament was this Coastal Carolina team, good program, obviously, won it in 2016, and really since then has kind of been hanging out around top 25, in the tournament, but hasn't really had that year to get to the College World Series again. Then they go on this long win streak. One of the big talking points was, well, who did they beat? Who were they playing in conference? How can they match up against these big time programs with more talent and those talent pools bigger to get players from? And they've just shown each and every game. I mean, whether it's Oregon State, whether it's Louisville yesterday, whoever it is, no matter how big the brand is, they're going to go out there and play their style of baseball, and it's resulted in a lot of wins. What has impressed you the most about this Coastal Carolina team?
I think just their overall dominance in Omaha so far. They haven't really played a close game yet. They scored 6 runs in the first yesterday. I was at the game. I think they scored at least 3 in that first inning on Sunday as well. They just come out of the gate. First of all, they made all of D1 baseball history. They have 176 batters that were hit.
Yeah.
And they practice that. And so, those extra bases.
They lean into it, literally and figuratively. They lean into being hit.
Yeah, on Sunday at that game, they had a hit batsman that was called out on strike 3 because they ruled that it was an intentional there. So, I mean, it's part of their game. They play small ball. They get on base. They're scrappy on that side. And then they just have really strong fundamentals. They have a lights-out ace in Jacob Morrison. He had a fantastic outing against Oregon State on Sunday. Riley Eichhoff, their second starter, really hasn't quite busted out yet. He pitched yesterday. Looked great the first couple times through the lineup, started to slow down as his pitch count got up. Curious to see how he'll respond in the CWS finals as well. They've just got a great pitching staff. Both of these teams have lights-out pitching, have terrific defense, sound fundamentals, quality offense. The only difference really that I see is that UCLA hits with power where that is not an identity factor really for the Chanticleers. So how that manages to manifest itself throughout that throughout that finals, that's what we're about to find out. But I mean, LSU can bop. We saw that with Bear Jones. He's 22 homers. I think they have 7 guys with at least 13 homers this year. So that and the fact that LSU has been in it and been fighting. Coastal Carolina has been impressive, but they've been blowing the doors off people primarily over this now 26-game win streak. I'm curious to see. They dealt with adversity earlier in the year when they were trying to get themselves together before this streak. I'm curious to see what happens if they got knocked on their butts in Game 1 or Game 2, how Coastal responds when they're kind of on the ropes, because they haven't been in that position really since April.
Yeah, no, they absolutely haven't. It's going to be fun. I saw the odds right now, LSU favored to win the first game and favored to win the series, win the whole thing. Do you have a prediction for who dog piles here in a couple days in Omaha?
I've been going back and forth on it. Like I said, LSU having the power factor there, having been here 2 years ago with this group, I'm kind of leaning LSU right now, but it's not a strong, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if Coastal is able, to turn this around, small ball their way, against this terrific pitching. So nobody would surprise me, but at the moment I'm tilting towards LSU. I could easily see this being a 3-game series.
Yeah, well, it feels like it's going to be a great series. No matter how it falls out, it feels like we're going to get a couple really fun games. Clayton, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy this final, and we'll do it again soon.
We sleep in July here in Omaha, guys. Thank you.
That's right. Thanks, Clayton.
You got it. You got it, Clayton. Thank you so much. Our good friend, Clayton Collier, joining us from Omaha. He was here for years and a big, great contributor to this community, and now making that impact in Omaha at WOWT 6 News. And we love catching up with him. We're gonna catch up with him in Big Ten football this year too.
No, we absolutely have to. I mean, Nebraska, it's could be a big year for them for sure.
And it's my wish every year, kind of the national wish. I want Nebraska back and relevant.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I mean, hey. It feels like they've got some pieces that could start moving that direction. We just got to see if they can do it.
Clayton joined us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler for the hometown teams like the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers in that great location at 42 Poplar at Poplar and Perkins in Laurelwood. Bill Jones and his team, a fabric of the community, supporters of Tiger Athletics. You look around town, whether it's charity or sports or otherwise, they're out there in our community, a part of our community. They're the Mid-South's largest. They have the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings since 1970, with all the great locations across the Mid-South. That 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines. And I mean, the whole section for Rolex just is something that you need to go just to go see that. Cartier, diamonds, and more. Sissy's, they offer a selection of diamonds and estate jewelry and fine gifts, the official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies. And when we get back to FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge at all the Grizzlies games, and at those games you can see all the display cases with all that beautiful jewelry at a Grizzlies game. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to a break, and when we return, a lot of day ball in Major League Baseball. We'll talk about some of the scores, some of the things we've seen today and last night around Major League Baseball, including Cardinals up right now 5-4 over the Chicago White Sox. Game 1 of 2 today in a doubleheader, as that game's in the bottom of the 8th. We'll talk Major League Baseball next on Sports Time.
Randy, not only do I have a great new dealership, we've got service available with less wait time than anyone in town. 16 service bays and immediate appointments available. Plus a 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE, $288.75 per month and 3.99% available for 72 months. 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL, $349.89 per month and 3.99 up to 60 months available. And a 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRV all-wheel drive, $37,180. That's $5,000 off MSRP.
Plus America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah, or shop online anytime. HyundaiMountMoriah.com.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Hey everybody, it's summer, so come and get your new and affordable 2026 All-Star Chevy Equinox right here in Olive Branch. Financing is down to 6.6% for 72 months. All new 2025 Silverados with $6,500 cash back and financing down to 2.9 for 36 months. It's here, so go big and get a new Silverado 2500 HD with financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months and not one payment for 90 days. And your good credit deserves it. If you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. And all the certified and pre-owned cars you want, like this Corvette Stingray and more Tahoes and Silverados, then you'll find in one place, anywhere, right here in Olive Branch. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Vacation road trips and all your summer fun begins right here in Olive Branch with our friends at All-Star Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. AllStarAutoGroup.com.
Tito's handmade vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about everything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, beyond the bottle, Tito's has gained a reputation for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits around the world to serve its community and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's and learn more at Tito'sVodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now, back to Sports Time. Sports Witnesses. This hour is brought to you by Lexus Service. Here are your hosts, Let's Talk Sports with Brian Davis.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. Brett, do you want to share the bad news that you just learned?
I have the golf on the Travelers. Signature event, no cut, right? 72 players in the field. You make it to Sunday. All you got to do is finish and sign a scorecard, and you get some check. My second pick, my shock pick, Jordan Spieth, has just WD'd, just withdrawn. He's riding in a golf cart.
Wow.
That means I get zero.
That's right. In
a no-cut tournament.
And one that just play all the holes and you're good. You make some money. I mean,
boy.
Wow. I think that's got to be one of the first WDs we've had. We haven't had a lot of WDs this year.
Yeah, it is.
Condolences, Brett. Condolences.
Yeah. Thank you, Landon.
Well,
golf picks have made us animals.
Well, I was about to say, I mean, I don't want to say it's what you get or what you deserve or anything, but you have been calling your shot
last
a lot.
place.
You've been calling your shot. Well, but Brett, you've been calling your shot a lot lately. You're like, oh, just give me some time. Give me 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Give me a couple weeks. And what'd you say last week? Oh, Scotty and Rom, they're going to go 1-2.
He proclaimed he would be number one.
Yeah, exactly.
He proclaimed he'd be number one.
Juju is not great over there.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
WD, first time in his career in the middle of a round. Well, that's how you WD.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the round.
Yeah, well,
hope he's not hurt.
I hope not either, but that's definitely not the news you wanted at all.
My feelings are hurt. Thanks, Jordan Spieth. 0. I can write that down now.
Yeah, you can go ahead and give you less work for Sunday night, I guess.
Money 0.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, get it already written down.
Thank you, Jordan.
Put it in the book, I guess. A lot of Major League action today with it being a Thursday and also a handful of doubleheaders with what we had yesterday. I guess just 2 doubleheaders, Pirates, Tigers, and then Cardinals, White Sox. Cardinals up right now in the top of the 9th, 5-4 as they look to get win number 2 over the White Sox, try to get at least one of the 2 for the doubleheader today. They're up right now looking to get a win. The other doubleheader we have Tigers all over the Pirates, 9-2. Trick Skubal was the winning pitcher in that one. One of the things that made me the most enraged yesterday with all the rain was we were set for Paul Skeens versus Trick Skubal yesterday.
And then they split them.
And then they split them with the doubleheader. So we missed
out
on that.
It cost us Skubal versus Skeens.
Sure did. So I was not happy at all when I realized that last night.
And I would imagine that the Tigers are drawing really well. But they would have loved to have had that gate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you had that pitching matchup, would have been good. I mean, I think still probably pretty good today with a doubleheader. And the first game you're getting Skubal, the second game you're getting Skeens. I think definitely still
you can go to the ballpark and see both today, but not.
Sure, but not the same game. So, I'm definitely with you on that. But I guess, we'll see what the Pirates can do in game number 2 now. That game will get started here in about an hour or so, just after 5 o'clock. Colorado was about to make it 5 in a row. We're up on the Nationals in the 11th inning, and then James Wood hit his second home run of the day to put the Nationals on top, a 4-3 win. But four wins for the Rockies in a row. I mean, they were rolling there for a second.
They were right there to get 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Boy, it felt like for a time there they may not win 5 more all year.
No, they were
2 in the bottom of the 11th for the zany Nats.
That's right. It was, just James Wood. His bat has been one that a lot of people have talked about as a prospect. Now up with the Nationals, and he had 2 today that looked really, really good. Obviously, I saw Alan Bell point this out of the humidity is going to be a factor a lot of these games. Ball is going to be jumping off the bat, and James Wood was one that I saw a lot of people pointing to in this matchup against the Rockies, kind of saying, hey, this is a guy to look at. Maybe throw some money on him to hit a home run. He hits not just 1 but 2 this afternoon.
Cardinals, if they hang on here, 5-4 in the top of the ninth, sweep the doubleheader in the night version of it, that would make them 40-35. And I think they may be fractionally in front of the Padres for the last wild card that are off today, I think.
We're back. It feels like May.
Not entirely.
Huh. I thought they were rolling there for a second. Wins
Cubs
win then,
entered
Brett.
today 7 up in the loss column over the Cardinals.
Yeah, and
that's a lot.
That is a lot. No, it's not. I don't see a way to really get over that hump. But
could we play the White Sox more often?
That'd be nice. I get White
Would
Sox.
baseball do us that
and,
favor?
Maybe throw in the Athletics in there, Rockies, and maybe a couple other teams like that. I'd love that. Unfortunately, I don't think that's how the baseball schedule works. Speaking of the Cubs, they're trying to come back on the Brewers right now. They've scored 2 runs in the last 2 innings, the 7th and the 8th. They now trail by 1 against the Brewers as that game has gone to the top of the 9th inning. And Brewers trying to get a road win. That's
going to get woolly in the bottom of the 9th at Wrigley.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. And that was another one that was postponed yesterday. You're supposed to get Mizrowski on the mound for the Brewers. That one got postponed. They end up skipping Mizrowski's start, throw Peralta out there today. He had a good outing this afternoon against the Cubs. So a lot of action around Major League Baseball. Still some games to come up tonight. Again, Cardinals in a doubleheader later this evening against the White Sox. Michael McGreevy, the young righty for the Cardinals, he'll start later tonight in Chicago. But let's go ahead and wrap up this first hour, get to a break. When we come back, we got to talk a lot of NBA. The trade that went down over the weekend, the NBA Finals, NBA Draft, NBA offseason, a little bit of everything. We'll do that next with Keith Smith.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me early on, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and the staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool
like home, Town Village.
Mid-South, if you're looking for a great deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat for the employee pricing plus sales event. 2025 Dodge Hornet GT. Buy it for $26,457 or $344.68 a month. That's over $5,000 off MSRP. 2025 Jeep Compass Latitude 4-wheel drive. Over $6,000 off MSRP at $23,541 or $297 a month. And 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 5.7 box rear-wheel drive. Over $11,000 off MSRP at $36,869 or just $511.87 a month or $149 for 72s available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pipe or online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
TS3A 46076, MSRP 31590, Compass ST 567703, MSRP 29765, Ram SM 728 346, MSRP 48260, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid to end of the month with approved credit dealer stock owner.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Trying to clean up a wreck over here on 40 westbound near Sam Cooper. Starting a little bit busier out of Midtown on 240 South there at South Parkway. Working your way south of Memphis. Still moving 55 into DeSoto County. Watch for a little bit of radar over in parts of Arkansas this afternoon west of West Memphis down I-40. Dandelions, Crabgrass. Lawn Solution says, hey, give them a call here in Memphis at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant and Brett.
Keith Smith joins us to talk all things NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. He joins us now. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. So much to get to this afternoon when it comes to the NBA, but I do want to start with what happened here in Memphis with the Grizzlies Sunday morning, the trade they made, sending Desmond Bane to Orlando in return 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Cole Anthony. What'd you make of that trade for the Grizzlies on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, shocking. It's not surprising that it came out of nowhere. These are two organizations that pretty much work in silence. The Magic and the Grizzlies don't do negotiating through the media and all that other stuff that, quite frankly, we're seeing play out a little bit in the Kevin Durant trade talks right now. That these two teams prefer to, hey, let's get our work done. And so when you find out something from them, it generally tends to be a surprise. So big time trade. I think for the Magic, Desmond Bane fills almost all the holes that they had. They needed someone who could really shoot. He can obviously do that. They need someone who can play on and off ball. He's great at that. Someone who can be a secondary playmaker, a really good skill. And they didn't downgrade their defense very much. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope's still a good defender, but Desmond Bane's a pretty good defender too. So I think the Magic, really did well to get him. Now they paid a hefty price, for him, but I think, from the Memphis side, getting those 4 first-round picks and a pick swap is huge. That gives them all kinds of draft capital and flexibility moving forward. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can still play, especially if he can re-find his shot. I don't know what happens to players when they get to Orlando, and we're hoping it doesn't happen here with Desmond Bane, but they just can't shoot anymore. And if Caldwell-Pope gets back to normal, he's a pretty good backcourt mate for John Morant for a couple seasons, and Cole Anthony can play or be a nice trade chip as well. So I think they're in pretty good shape, in Memphis moving forward, despite the fact that it's a major change.
Keith, I find that very interesting that you couple Orlando and Memphis as real cloak and dagger. They keep everything close to the vest. We know here there's no leaks out of Beale Street anymore. There was a time in Grizzlies past, Keith, I'm not kidding you, I mean, the whole building was leaking like a sieve. You could get stuff from the night electrician, and it was good stuff. Now it's nothing, and I would say around town, Brian, help me with the number, and us included, people that call themselves covering the Grizzlies. I think that number would come close to approaching. You throw in everything, credible blogs, TV, radio, print, all that. Around 40?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody ever knows the thing, and that includes their own media operation wing, Keith. Is that good or bad?
I think that's good. I think, it obviously makes our jobs harder. Trust me, I love a leaky organization as much as the next guy that gives you all kinds of good intel and not just after the fact. A lot of people are willing to talk after the fact about things, but if you can get it ahead, it's helpful for planning reasons and helpful to then you got the story and you can kind of run with it. But I think for doing your actual work of building a good basketball team, it's good to be quiet and not have to work through that. I think we're seeing a lot of front offices now. It's changed quite a bit, and it's not going to be hey, Magic and Grizzlies are talking Desmond Bain trade for 4 days, because I guarantee you this did not come together in the span of a couple hours and then somebody let Shams know it was done. This probably was a week-long negotiation, or if not longer, and I think that's good, because what that does is keeps feelings from getting hurt, keeps teams from having oh man, you're not getting enough and you need more and all that stuff. So I think it's a good thing to kind of work in silence.
And it keeps the agent world at bay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing too, and I get why sometimes teams will float a little bit of a trial balloon out there that is, hey, let's kind of, put this out there that they might trade this guy and see what the reaction is, and if the fans really hate it, maybe they don't do it, and that definitely does happen. But I think for the most part, yeah, you want to kind of keep things quiet, because it just keeps everybody from getting all worked up before they need to be.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about Cole Anthony, you mentioned could be a good piece, could also be a good trade piece for the Grizzlies. What would that market look like, do you think, for Cole Anthony if they decided to try to move him? It feels like a lot of people here are kind of viewing Cole Anthony as a guy of they've got to make a decision between him or Scottie Pippen Jr. of who's going to be that backup point guard for Ja Morant. Do you view him that same way, and what do you think that market would look like if the Grizzlies elected to try to move him?
Yeah, I like Cole Anthony. I think he's a pretty good player. I think, he was really a good soldier for Orlando, where he had a big role on the team for a number of years while they were kind of in the down period with the team. And then when he kind of, how do I put this, kind of swung back around when the team started getting good, he came back around and he wasn't playing as much. So I think for him, he never, barked, never chirped about his role, just went about his business and, lost his rotation spot, didn't play as many minutes, and just kind of kept doing his thing. Good scoring guard off the bench, better playmaker than I think he's gotten a lot of credit for. He's better early in his career when he had the ball in his hands more. He's just small. That's a little bit of a challenge. You're not going to be able to play him with Ja Morant or with Scottie Pippen Jr. for very many minutes. Just you'll be too small in the backcourt. But I think he's a good player. But I think for Memphis, they already have a really good backup point guard in Scottie Pippen Jr., who has really developed into, for my mind, he's one of the better backup point guards in the league now. And I think when they look at it, it's all right. Well, do we really need another guy doing that too, that we can't play, alongside Pippen or alongside Morant? And that might be why we could see something happen where we do see, Cole Anthony. That's $13 million that you can put into a trade, and that's nothing to sneeze at.
No, absolutely not. We've talked a lot about the pick for this year that came back to the Grizzlies, number 16 in the draft next week. And Brett and I have kind of bounced it around of, do they go out and take somebody? Do they try to trade that pick and either move somewhere else in that first round or move out of it completely? Let's just say they make the pick at 16. Who are some guys that you think will be in that range that would fit what the Grizzlies are trying to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. And if you're Memphis, that's going to be the first part of this equation, right? Is what is it that we're trying to do? Where are we trying to go? At this point, moving forward with the team. Where and I've seen they might be rebuilding now. They're not. That's nothing is even entered that equation. They're still locked in on trying to move forward with the Grizzlies and trying to build up. So yeah, in the 16 range, you're talking about guys like maybe Carter Bryant or Colin Murray Boyles. Those are a couple combo forwards who teams really kind of like as defenders. Their offense could need a little bit of work. Yegor Demin could be available at that point if he slips a little bit in the draft. I think Asa Newell, who's kind of a bouncy big man, maybe doesn't fill a huge need for Memphis, but maybe could if they were going to move Brandon Clark or move on from Santi Aldama. A guy like Will Riley should be available there. If they wanted to double down with another big, Danny Wolf could be available in that range. So they're going to get a good player there, even like a guy like Liam McNeely, who I think would be really good for them as a shooter-scorer. There's a lot of people who think he's going to slip out of the lottery in the draft. This is a very weird draft process where it is Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, then who knows? And it is normally then you're like, all right, well, the third pick, it's going to be one of these 2 or 3 guys. It's like the third pick could be one of 5 guys if it gets traded or kept, and that goes all the way down through the lottery. So this is, I think, going to be a pretty wild draft where somebody's going to slip, and I think Memphis now having that 16th pick is in pretty good shape to get a real player.
Keith, any of those names you just mentioned potentially for that spot if the Grizzlies stay on it, does any of that help you next year advance further than you did this year?
Yeah, it could. Anytime with a rookie, unless it is, someone like Cooper Flagg, who we all assume he's going to hop in there and just be good right away, it's going to take a little while to get that guy incorporated into the NBA and kind of get things figured out. So I think we're in a spot where, yeah, you could be, get somebody who could come right in. Like I mentioned, Liam McNeely. I think his shooting is going to translate better to the NBA than it did at college because he's going to be playing with more space. I saw him get to play a lot of one-on-one in space in high school because he played on a loaded high school team with Cooper Flagg and Asa Newell and Derek Queen and a couple other guys will probably be drafted in the next few years. And he was excellent in that role. In college, at UConn, he actually had to play in less space because that UConn team wasn't quite as talented as they have been in years past. And, it was a little bit harder on him, but he still showed out okay. So I think he could help. I think a guy like Bryant or Murray Boyles, they're going to come in and be defenders right away in the NBA, and I think that'll get them on the floor, even if the offensive game takes a little while to come around. And Will Riley really showed up late in the season and played much better down the stretch for Illinois, and I think he's in a spot where that's a guy who might be a little more offensively ready day one in the NBA. So I think there is a chance you can get a day one contributor. As I've been kind of telling people, you're not getting a Desmond Bane replacement. That's not happening because Desmond Bane is really, really good. But if you can get that guy plus whatever else you do, then you're probably in pretty good shape.
No, absolutely. I was going to save this, but I guess since we're talking about the draft, I'll go ahead and ask you this Ace Bailey story. I mean, it is one of the wilder things out there. He was supposed to have a visit with the 76ers. Last night, Jonathan Gavoni reporting that visit has been canceled, and now with less than a week to go before the draft, he is the only U.S.-based prospect that is yet to visit any NBA teams. This is a guy that, before the season started, we were talking about him being a surefire, second, maybe third pick in this draft, and now, who knows where he goes in that top 4, 5, maybe even outside of that. I saw Mark Stein write today that could be down towards 10 or 8 or 9. What do you make of this story regarding Ace Bailey?
Yeah, I'm nervous for Ace Bailey because he's somebody on my personal board. I still have it third, and I'm still tweaking and adjusting and will right up until draft day. But there's a ton of talent here. This kid, he's a pretty good rebounder. When he was locked in, actually a much better defender than I think a lot of people realize. I think he knows how to use his size and length and an incredible scorer and shot maker already. So I think for him, I don't understand the idea of not doing the workouts unless he's not healthy or unless they know we really want to get to Team X that's in the range of 3 to 8, and we're going to kind of do what we can to tank things to make sure that's where we go. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because what's going to happen now is by the time we get to the draft, no one will have seen Ace Bailey in a month and a half from the NBA side, because the last time anybody saw him was at the Combine, and that was just minimal athletic testing, and then his interview process, which that sounds like it didn't go very well. So I think we're in a spot now with Ace Bailey where it really becomes, all right, what is happening here? Why are we doing this? And it only makes sense if we're trying to engineer a destination, but nobody's even been, remotely come forward and linked to they're the team for Ace Bailey. So I really don't know what's happening with this one.
All right, give me 2 players. The next most sure thing after Cooper Flagg. After Cooper Flagg, you'll guarantee this guy goes on, helps team, has success, and then give me your biggest steal of the draft.
So Dylan Harper, I'm going to cheat a little. I know he's, no surprise, number 2 guy, but I'm certain Dylan Harper is going to be really, really good in the NBA. It might take a little bit to get.
I tell people a cliche is for a reason. It's tried, true, and tested. If he's the locket too, don't try to be different, guy. Go with him.
That's it. Yeah, teams get in trouble when they try to get cute, or try to be smarter than the next guy. So, I think he's got a chance to be, really, really good. I think, once the shot gets figured out, that's why I'm kind of excited about him going to San Antonio. They do good work with, fixing shots down there. So if he can get things sorted there, I think he's going to be really, really good. Within a year or two, I think we'll be saying, all right, Dylan Harper is there. The other guy that I am really certain is going to be really good is Con Knipple. I just think he has a chance to be, I think his floor is very high. I don't know how high his ceiling is, but I think he's going to be somebody who we're going to look at and be like, yeah, this guy's a 10-year rotation player in the NBA without a lot of question, because he can just do a lot of things. He's really competitive defensively. And then a sleeper, I'll go deeper into it. I really like Janai Broom a lot, and I think he is suffering from, everybody's seen him now for a long time in college. But, where you've got these teams in the back half of the first round and teams in the top part of the second round that are looking for guys who can step in and contribute right away, because those are generally pretty good teams, and they probably have some issues with the tax and the aprons and the like. I think Janai Broom's a guy who's going to step in and be an NBA player day one, just because he knows who he is and he knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah, no, it's a really good answer. Keith Smith joins us every week to talk the NBA, Spot Track, and the front office shows where you can find them. Game 6 tonight of the NBA Finals in Indianapolis, a must-win game for the Pacers to send this to Game 7. It looks like Tyrese Halliburton will go tonight. What'd you make of that last game, the injury, the calf injury, and what do you think we see from him tonight?
Yeah, all indications are that he's going to try to play. And I've seen some people saying, this is crazy, you can't play him. It's Game 6 of the finals. Unless there is a thought process that, hey, if he gets hurt, this may mess him up for a while. And if that's the case, well, then we all got to be smart here and not play him. But if the sense is, yeah, he's okay, nothing's going to get worse, then I would play him and just, move forward and kind of, see what he can do. But I'd have him on a short leash. If it looks like he's struggling out there, it looks like he can't get by anybody or can't stay in front of anyone, which is probably even worse, then I'd probably pull him and move in a different direction. They've got enough guys. But I think Indiana, they're going to get that home crowd's going to be pumping there. I know there's some Thunder fans buying up tickets, but I think they're going to be drowned out by some excited Pacers fans. I think we're still in for a really good one. I will not be at all surprised for watching a Game 7 this weekend.
Yeah. No, it definitely feels like it could be a lot of fun tonight. You look at on the other side OKC and what Jalen Williams is doing. That 40-point game. I saw the nugget that he has improved on his points in every single game this series. What have you made of really that duo that we're seeing? We've seen it taking shape if you've been watching OKC, but now seeing it in this type of light in the NBA Finals, seeing what SGA and Jalen Williams are doing.
Yeah, when you look at, this Thunder team, there are so many people who are already going to, well, that's it. It's over for the next whatever number of years they want to put on. As you guys know, we always talk about it where it is, just kind of to a point of, yeah, but these windows aren't open, as long as people think that they are. And, things do happen slightly differently, with this stuff. So I think we're in a spot where the Thunder are set up, though, to be pretty good for a while, right? You've got your guys. You have SGA. You have Jalen Williams. You have Chet Holmgren. They're going to get expensive as soon as next year. But then when that happens, they're going to, well, not next year. Next year they'll be okay. The year after. Then when they'll really kick in against the taxes and the aprons. But when that happens, they're going to, be able to really refill the roster. They might have to move on from a Caruso or a Dort or Aaron Wiggins or Isaiah Joe. But they'll bring in the next guy because that's why they're sitting on all this bounty of draft picks. And they're going to be able to kind of just replenish that way, and there'll be other trades that they can make and the like. So they're set up to kind of extend this thing probably as long as I think any team we've seen other than, the Dynasty Warriors. And then before them, I would say was really the Spurs before that, around Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, who built that great long run. So I think things are set up really, really well for Oklahoma City because it's such a smart, forward-thinking front office.
Mm-hmm. When we talk to you again in a week, obviously first round will be behind us. I guess we'll be previewing night 2 of the NBA draft that I'm still not a huge fan of. But when we talk to you again, will we be talking about Kevin Durant on a new team?
I think so. I still think this is going to get done here ahead of the draft. I think the Suns are motivated to add some draft capital, whether it's to use picks themselves or to go trade those picks to get a different player in instead. I think they're really motivated to do that. So I think we are going to see that be kind of how that plays out. So I think we'll be in a spot where we see, the Suns find a Kevin Durant trade. Where? I don't know. It seems like the teams that are most motivated to get him, he's doing what he can to kind of push those teams off because it doesn't seem to be where he really wants to go. But I would say, when a team that was linked to a player and everything kind of goes really, really quiet, I would, relook and think like, maybe there is something going on there. I still feel like Spurs make a lot of sense for him. Kevin Durant loved being in Texas. He's beloved in the Austin, San Antonio area, especially there in Seattle. Those are the two places where it seems like he found basketball happiness. It seems like that's where he'd like to be. So maybe something gets done, and we see how that goes together.
Yeah, definitely something to watch as we get closer to the draft. Keith, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy Game 6 tonight, and we'll talk to you again next Thursday.
I appreciate it. Hey, real quick, I just want to let people know, because I know he was a fan favorite there in Memphis. We had Jake LaRavia on NBA Front Office Show just today. The episode just posted, so people want to check that out and hear from Jake LaRavia on what's going on with him. We got into some stuff with the trade and all that. But I just wanted to put that out there to the Memphis fans.
Thank you, Keith. Yeah, we'll definitely,
Thank you very
definitely
much.
be checking that out. Thanks, Keith.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Keith Smith with us every week, and that will be fun to hear.
LaRavia.
Jake LaRavia, fan favorite.
Yes, no, Jake LaRavia. It was a rocky time at Memphis, but I do think that the fan base, a good portion of the fan base, still really likes Jake LaRavia. So yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out and see when he's become a fan favorite in Sacramento. I mean, he gets over to Sacramento and they love them some Jake LaRavia.
We'll do it next week as well. I loved I love Keith's pick of his maybe dark horse player, Janai Broome. Do you have one?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are a lot of really fun guys in this. I think Rasheer Fleming from St. Joe's, that's a guy that, kind of in the 20s area, maybe in the late teens, a guy that hasn't gotten a lot of talk, really during the season and has kind of bloomed. I've seen a lot of good stuff about Danny Wolf. I don't know if I would, if I'm there yet with him. So maybe a guy like that, maybe a guy like Noah Pinda is a guy that I've liked seeing his film a lot. So maybe one of those guys being a
would Walter Clayton count as dark horse?
I think he could be. Obviously,
MOP, the Final Four on the national champs in the 20s.
Sure.
Or do we need more longer shot than that?
I don't think so. I mean,
I'll work on it by next week.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at a guy like that really just kind of hit on the scene, relatively recently at
he
Florida.
could help a good team next year.
That could be a great spot for him. I'm looking at a mock draft right now that has him landing in Orlando. I mean, having Walter Clayton come off the bench for Orlando, that definitely makes them better.
Spell Bain.
Exactly. So that could be a really good pick for them late in the first round.
Can you believe we're talking draft? It's next week.
Crazy.
Next week is NBA draft.
Sneaks up on
also, we're getting close to the halfway point of the year. And with that, the 2026s are out at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Affordable 26 All-Star Chevy Equinox right there at All-Star in Olive Branch. First exit is into Mississippi. When you're on Highway 78, take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're at All-Star. Financing is down to 6.6% for that Chevy Equinox for 72 months. New 25 Silverados with $6,500 cash back, and financing down to 2.9 for 36 months. Go big and get a new Silverado 2500 HD with financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months and not one payment for 90 days. And your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star if you're law enforcement, educator, military, recent grad, first responder, healthcare worker. You all get an instant extra $500 bonus back. All the certified and pre-owns you can imagine, like a Corvette Stingray and Tahoes and Silverados, more there at All-Star than you'll find anywhere else in our area. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star in Olive Branch and get the most money back for it, even if you didn't buy it there. Vacation, road trips, and all your summer fun begins right there in Olive Branch with our friends at All-Star Chevrolet. Together, let's drive something from All-Star, from Drew DePriest and his great team at All-Star in Olive Branch. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
How about this for a guy that could really help a team late in the first round, one of these teams that is ready to compete for a final? Cam Jones, Memphis's very own Cam Jones from Marquette. It's a guy that a veteran around college basketball, was in that Marquette system for a while and is just a winning player. I'd love to have Cam Jones on my team.
An NBA person told me he asked him, why didn't you stay home and sign with Penny, and said he was never offered.
Oh, wow. Well, he made it work at Marquette. That's for sure, but that is
bucket getter. You always can use those.
Oh yeah, you could definitely use that, and certainly from a guy in your backyard, man, I would have loved to have him as a Tiger. But yeah, he'll hear his name called next week, whether it is on Wednesday night or Thursday night. Still don't love the 2 nights, and this is really last year it was a night and then an afternoon for the second round. This year it is 2 nights of first round and second round, so it'll be definitely different next week. But let's get to another break, and when we return, we'll talk a little bit more about Game 6 tonight of the NBA Finals. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Winton Road.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos, and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with reservations from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99, and margaritas start at $4.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CLEAN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right? Your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CLEAN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CLEAN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Briggs Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Briggs Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With two conveyor lines and the largest match ovens in the Mid-South, Briggs can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Briggs Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Briggs Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or BriggsPowderCoating.com.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
This traffic report is brought to you by Millington Weight Loss. For more information, call 901-436-0272.
Good afternoon. A couple of ranks out here in the last few minutes. Getting busier on all the major outbound routes. 240 in both directions here at Airways has picked up just in the last 10-15 minutes. 240 still moving on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway as you head out towards Collierville. Weimer's Jewelry serving Memphis now for over 40 years. No matter what the occasion is, you'll save a lot of money by shopping local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure Studios. We got to talk Game 6 tonight. Pacers and Thunder. Thunder win. It's all over. Pacers win. We get a Game 7. It's going to be fun. But the biggest story is Tyrese Halliburton. What will he be able to do tonight for the Pacers? We saw what happened in that last game. We saw that just couldn't get anything going with his shot, and really inefficient performance from him. What can he do tonight? That will be the big question for the Pacers.
And defense has been the calling card for Oklahoma City. It's got to be for the Pacers tonight, with or without Tyrese Halliburton. They can't allow another 40-point outburst from Jalen Williams. They've got to hold that down. And you've talked about Dort on Halliburton. Dort's a lockdown of any star, healthy or not.
Yeah, he is. No, he is. They've got several guys on that OKC team that can be locked down for basically guarding anybody, and Lou Dort is certainly one of them. And so that's kind of the great thing if you're OKC is you can really you can mix and match and kind of try to find what matchup you want, because if you put X guy on Halliburton, you can put this other guy on Siakam, you can put this other guy on Nesmith. You have multiple options that are guys that can guard 1 through 4 in some of those smaller guys for OKC. So they do a great job defensively. But you're right, defensively for the Pacers, we've seen some of these guys that have had big games defensively. You think of Nembhard, who's done a nice job. Nembhard and Nesmith have both done really nice jobs on SGA throughout this series defensively. But you cannot let him go for 30. You can't let Jalen Williams go for 40 if you want a Game 7. I mean, it's got to be, if the Pacers are going to win this game, you want this game to go under if you're Indiana.
Oklahoma City, they just have a lot of options. Before the series started, I picked Oklahoma City 4-1. I'm going to miss on that. I had no preference at all, really, about who won the series. I think I was mostly, and I'm tonight for the Pacers because I want a Game 7.
Sure.
But I think I'm more than anything else, I'm for the Pacers because, they're a long time in the league and, back to my ABA roots, and they're back to their ABA roots more than anything else. And for Oklahoma City, that feeling at one time that we were close to being in a peer group, whether they win it or not this year. I do think they are very, very capable over the next 8 years of winning it 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah.
If they win it this year,
No,
or 2 or 3 standalone.
Definitely. No, I mean, they have they've got a franchise that is built to compete for a while. Keith Smith has talked about it with us, of just, the way that they've got a bunch of dudes out there right now that can certainly compete, and if they get to a point where they've got to move one of those guys because of financial reasons, they've got all these first-round draft picks that they've been stashing where they can either go out and get another star or they can just continue to bring in young guys. And so, yeah, I mean, they're set up extremely well right now.
Between now and at this point next week, we expect there have already been a lot of moves around the league, and some centered right here in Memphis on the Grizzlies. I hope the moves are not all for 25 and 26. I hope we're looking to the future. But does everybody have time for that? Does Zach Kleiman have time to really be looking to the future? Does Ja and Jaren, are they that worried about the 28 and 29 season?
That's a good question. I think they should be, because I mean they still want to be playing in the NBA, and unless they already have
and how patient are fans?
Sure, well, that's the big thing. Is I think you have to make moves that are for both. I don't think the Grizzlies are right now in a spot where they can go out and make a couple moves and say we are in a win now. We're going to compete for an NBA final this season. I just don't think they're at that point yet. So you have to make moves to improve on what you were last year and what you've been the last couple of years, but also, bring in guys that, maybe, hey, you got a couple years on your contract. You've got, you can do this for us, or you're a guy that we can get stuff out of you and then move you for something else. You're working for both this year and, down the road to try to build something, because, I mean, the goal is to have Jaren and Ja here for years and years to come. And if that's going to happen, if you're going to stay competitive, you can't just bring in a guy that, hey, he's on his last year of his deal and we're going to try to get everything out of him and really go for it this year. I think it's got to be a mix of everything right now.
There's been a lot accomplished in the Ja and Jaren years. Jaren first and then Ja joining him. There's been so much accomplished. One thing that's been accomplished is we know the season ticket base, it's gone up. There have been more fans developed, attachment to, becoming, pretty diehard fans. So even, and he's not going to be, but even if the Grizzlies did deal Ja Morant, they're not going to, but if they did, I don't think it would bottom out like we had after kind of Shane Battier, Powell, the 3 playoff runs or appearances that didn't win a single game, and we just got down to really sparse crowds, 7 and 8 before the resurgence with the core 4.
No, yeah.
I don't think we'd dip down that low again.
Certainly not. No, I think, we've talked about it a lot. I mean, the Grizzlies have been here long enough to where they have built a fan base.
They have roots.
Yes, they have those fans of people that grew up rooting for the Grizzlies, and so yeah, it's now way more of the name on the front of the chest than the name on the back of the chest, and so I think that is the big thing of they have those roots now. So no, I don't think that would happen at all, and so we'll see what the Grizzlies do over this next week, and if they make any moves going into the NBA draft, or if we're talking a week from now about, hey, this guy that the Grizzlies went out there and drafted in the first round, and how does he fit this team and what they want to do. It feels like it's going to be a very eventful week for the NBA, including NBA Finals and just all season really getting kicked off.
There are some things I am concerned with about the future of Grizzlies crowds, though, because we know the community is not growing. In fact, we have had pretty steep population losses. I think the 2030 census, that's in a few years, but I don't think we'll regain a lot. by then and could lose some more. I think it's going to shock people. Well, when you look at, golly, we were that in 2020 and now we're this, and then compare it to 2010. With that and all the dust up earlier in the week, Stephen A. Smith has offered the olive branch, and tweeted out about an hour and a half or so ago to Mayor Young and wanting to come here and experience things, and he does. Stephen A. Smith does have he has friends here. He has friends everywhere, but I know he has friends here. Bryant, at some point, don't we move past this and maybe not give him the rose petal treatment and red carpet treatment when he comes to town, but at least accept the olive branch, maybe the somewhat apology?
Sure, yeah, and it looked like Mayor Young put out a statement, and in that statement kind of invited Stephen A. to come down and really experience Memphis, and he took that offer up, and so yeah, I mean I think like we talked about it, we all hated it when we heard it. But I do think it's going to quickly be something that we really don't think about very often. It's going to be something that pops up, every now and then when Stephen A. says something about the Grizzlies. People will mention, hey, remember what he said about the city and about Ja Morant and about guys wanting to play here. But I think this is something that will not quickly, but I think will be something that we not forget about. But I don't think we'll talk about it a ton.
On the crime numbers, they are down, but I don't know how much people really feel it. I think people still feel like that it's not down, that it's rising. It categorically not rising. They are down, and it's not it's not anybody finessing the numbers. They are legitimately down, and that is good. And I'm not taking a shot at anybody, but when you turn on that first 3.5 minutes of every local TV station and you see that, it's hard for it to feel like it is down.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good point by you. I mean, you said it. You turn on your nightly news on any station, and it's the first 3 stories are heartbreaking stories. And so, it's that, you look up these numbers and statistics for the country, and you see Memphis up there. I mean, we talked about it. I think there is a narrative nationally about what Memphis is and what the city is, and I don't think it reflects at all what Memphis actually is. And so, very easy for someone like Stephen A. Smith, who knows people in here, but obviously is not someone that lives here day in, day out, is experiencing Memphis. It's very easy for him to say, oh, well, this is what Memphis is, and this is why guys don't want to go to Memphis. And I just don't think it completely accurately describes what Memphis is.
And I do think, and now he never said I'm sorry, but it is the extension of the olive branch. That's what I said. It was I'm sorry. It was not anywhere in his statement. I don't know if he's got to do all that, but whatever. But when an olive branch gets extended or apology comes your way, you don't always have to accept it.
No, and there's going to be people who don't. If Stephen A. came out tomorrow, if he starts First Take tomorrow and says, I want to send out my sincere apology to the city of Memphis, great people. Let's say he comes to Memphis this weekend, and Monday morning, I want to extend my sincerest apologies to the city of Memphis. What I said was not accurate. I'm sorry. There are going to be a lot of people in Memphis that go, I don't care. I'm not
accepted.
I am not a fan of Stephen A. Smith anymore because of what
I'm sorry. It's really easy to say.
It's very easy to say. It's very easy. And so, yeah, I mean, I know when it happened, a lot of my friends were frustrated about it and were texting about it a ton. And I'm just visualizing them of if Stephen A. Smith apologized. They wouldn't care if Stephen A. Smith apologized. It's what he said initially, and it's gonna be something that sticks with them.
Yeah, but it's a little bit back to what I was talking about yesterday on the whole, you got to own somebody. And I do think sometimes people think I can say I'm sorry and that absolves me of anything every time, and you're getting a lot of I'm sorries from you. At some point, you're in total control. If you can just do anything and say I'm sorry for it, and okay, slate's clear.
No, it doesn't fix everything. A lot of people think that it's just you say those 2 words and everything is cool, but that's not how
There
it
are
works.
some things that are unforgivable.
Yeah, no, there definitely are, and so who knows? Maybe we'll see in the next couple weeks or so, next couple months or so, Stephen A. Smith walking around Memphis and getting his taste of it. But it's going to be fun tonight watching Game 6 of the NBA Finals and see if OKC can close this thing out or if we're going to a Game 7 in OKC. We'll find all that out here in just a couple hours. 7:30, we know that will be closer to 7:40 for the actual tip time on ABC. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to base or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef. And she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meat. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper is more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with the perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair is still going strong since 1948. The Rendezvous.
I think a lot about golf, and when I think golf, I think Miramichi. Did you know Miramichi Golf Course offers membership? It's a great way to play more golf for less out of pocket. Their memberships run for $300 a month plus tax, and that includes unlimited rounds and range balls, no extra card fees, priority tee time booking, and discounts in the pro shop. Oh, by the way, there's no initiation fee. Miramichi green fees, they'll allow you to choose the right rate at the right time on the right day for your needs. If morning tee times are more important, you can book up to 14 days ahead of time to reserve your spot. If rate is more important to you, there are discounted evening rates available that you can choose from. Miramichi is now open on Mondays, and you'll find the lowest rate is on Thursday. Sometimes you just need to escape the hustle and bustle of life. Miramichi Golf Course provides just the right place to solve that need. The name Miramichi means place of happy retreat. When you need a quiet, peaceful round of golf, please make your way to Miramichi.
It's time to turn corners and turn heads in your new Gossett Kia from Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Discover peace of mind in your new Kia with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. How about $5 a day in 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $150 a month. 2025 Kia K5 LXS, we Gossett $265 a month. 2025 Sportage $275 a month. And 2025 Kia Telluride S $359 a month. We Gossett covered for every family and every budget at Gossett Kia on the Pike. All $49.99 new signing, 24-month lease. Ask for Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee 20,000 miles per year. K4 SE 137 210, MSRP 24,340, K5 S 536 6209, MSRP 29,170, Sportage SG 271 1755, MSRP 34,115, Telluride SG 66 2001, MSRP 41,060. Must finance through KFA, excludes tax on license with approved credit dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 07225.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this sleeve blower. PayPal can pay for your purchase.
The Great PayPal Checkout. No purchase necessary. Ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal Checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 17, and I think Landon's going to like this big number a lot because it has to do with his New York Mets. Juan Soto leads Major League Baseball in walks this month, which would be his 17th different month leading the majors in walks for his career. The next most months a player has led Major League Baseball in walks before turning 27 years old in the modern era is 9 by Babe Ruth and Mickey Mantle.
That's New York legends.
Royalty. I mean, that's and
he's there.
And the fact that he's done it, if he completes it this month, it will be 17, and those two, it was 9. That's
for him to
nuts.
Really get appreciated, though. He's got to win one with the Mets.
That's right. Yep. And then, you talk about most hated by Yankees fans. I mean, it will be the worst.
You know, we're pretty long. I mean, Yankees last won it in 2009. I would say since they won their first one, that was sometime in the early 1920s, over 100 years ago. We're approaching longest stretch.
Yeah.
Maybe 78 to 96. We're getting close.
Yeah, no, definitely getting close, and they're itching for one.
And Aaron Boone never in any job jeopardy.
No, I mean he's
George Steinbrenner would have fired him 5 times and rehired him by now.
No kidding. But he seems like he's just hanging out.
Your number was 17. Mine's a little above that. Mine's 19. 25 College World Series finals in this 21st century. We didn't have one in 2020 because of the vid. 19 times, that's my big number, 19 times the SEC has had at least one team in the finals. I know that's only 76%, and I know the SEC's got about 100% for it to really be appreciated. Big overrated SEC, can't get one in there all the time. And it's only won it going into this weekend 11 out of 24 times. This weekend would make it 12 out of 24. And LSU, they're going for back-to-back, the last team to do that from the SEC, South Carolina in 2010 and 2011. Okay, it doesn't bat 1,000, but it's really good. And I'm not so sure they beat Coastal.
No, I mean, it's going to be a really good matchup for them. And hey, I mean, they certainly LSU has a great team, and they are extremely talented. And, obviously, if they can win it, there's, SEC can wave that flag again of winning it again.
I will. I'm not literally, I don't have one, but I'll be flying my SEC flag. But if LSU loses, I can quickly go to sleep on it.
Oh, easily. But hey,
and like the Coastal story.
Oh no, it's a great story, and I think it's going to be a great. I really am excited to see this matchup because we talked about it with Clayton earlier in the show. I mean, you've got one team that has a ton of talent, has been here before, been there, done that. They have that prestige of winning and playing big time competition. Then on the other side, you have a team that just never loses and hasn't lost since middle of April, and so it just feels like it's going to be it feels like a series that we'll get 3 games of probably, and it feels like it's going to be 3 really back and forth competitive games.
And Coastal, they don't mind the bruises. You talked about it the other day, and then Clayton talked about it today. They get hit by pitches a lot.
They do.
You got to stand in there and take it. There was a guy for the Montreal Expos through most of the 70s named Ron Hunt. He may have led all time with hit by pitches. He loved it. he preferred that as a hit.
I mean, hey, that's how I was in Little League. I'd get
that ball hurt.
I'd get hit by the ball all the time. And
really, you didn't mind it?
So much so that I became the leadoff hitter because of it. I would either get hit or
you would walk as good as the hit guy.
I sure was. I get on base. I was not a great hitter, so yeah, that was like the only way I was getting on base if I got hit.
Well, I know you have been. I mean, you've seen where you've been hit. Do you see the stitches?
Sometimes. It's
not a good feeling.
No, I mean it's not fun. But hey, I mean whatever you got to do to help the team, Brett. I'm Mr. Team.
I left one night with a bruise with the stitches that you could count them and stitches over an eye. I said, "This is not good.
No.
I got them in two places."
That is not how you want to leave a baseball game. The less stitches, the better when you're playing youth baseball. But no, that's they are. It's an art, I guess. And I mean, some people will call it not an art. Some people will call it a con because they have a tendency to maybe lean a little bit one way or the other.
I don't think it's cost anybody games.
No.
But the home plate umpire in Omaha, that strike zone's an area code.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little mysterious too, from inning to inning.
It sure is. It sure is.
But like we talk about, they don't look like big leaguers. Routine is not always routine. These guys aren't the umpires I normally watch night in, day out, watching the bigs.
No, yeah. I mean, there's just like there's levels of players. There's levels when it comes to umpiring. And I tell you, Coastal Carolina, they've talked a ton about it during the games. Their catcher is really good at framing pitches, and it's one thing that I think it was either maybe yesterday or the day before one of their games, they were showing his pregame routine. I mean, it is all about framing pitches and trying to get those balls called strikes, and he's really good at it.
And the framers are getting ready to go when we start having automated balls and strikes.
That's right. Yeah. So it's maybe an art that he is developing a little too late for the bigs. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we see the ABS come in and just be a challenge system where you only have a handful and he can still get away with some of them.
Well, it will take out all the now it's supposed to be automatic ejection. For arguing ball strikes, sometimes we let the dugouts get a little loud before they finally run people. But the umpire now can turn to the dugout and go, I'm just passing along the information, man.
Exactly.
I just work here. Don't be mad at me.
I have an earpiece in. It's telling me everything. I'm just standing here. So that's not going to be fun for umpires because they'll still get yelled at by the coaches and players for whatever team doesn't like the call. But we got to get to another break. But before we do that, let me tell you, the weekend is quickly approaching. And if you're in need for some new wardrobe, why don't you head down to Frontier Western Store. Family owned and operated since 1967. Frontier Western is your one-stop shop for the biggest brands in Western wear. They're the one-stop shop for Carhartt in the Mid-South, but they've got you covered with plenty of other name brand products when it comes to the shirts, jeans, outerwears, whatever you're looking for. But I know a lot of people, maybe not right now with summer, but don't forget about it and be underprepared once fall and winter come around. You need a new pair of jeans. Frontier has you covered with some of the biggest brands from Ariat all the way down to Wrangler, and you'll love how easy it is to find the perfect style and size. Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know you'll be getting the best deals. And while you're there, check out Frontier's world-famous boot showroom. Whether it's work boots or dress boots, Frontier has you covered for the entire family with plenty of in-stock proven classics like Ariat, Dan Post, and Durango, just to name a few. Head down to 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch and check out the entire selection. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. for Frontier Western Store. Well, let's get to a break, wrap up this hour, and when we return, we're talking Tigers. Greg Gaston, he joins us next.
That's the whole point. It's a secret.
Why does Central Barbecue feel like they have to keep the ingredients of their dry rub a secret?
Because it's just that good. If people could find out the ingredients in Central Barbecue's dry rub, they could reverse engineer it and make their own Central Barbecue dry rub.
Reverse engineer? These aren't state secrets.
They may as well be. This is serious business. Central Barbecue already tells everybody that they slow smoke their meat for a full 24 hours over hickory and pecan, and that there's never any sauce in the pit. They're giving away too much information as it is.
They're not giving away secrets. It's advertising. They're boasting about those things.
You are so naive.
Hey, it's Mark and Ronnie at Gossett Hyundai South on Mount Moriah with his brand spanking new dealership. What's up, dude?
Randy, not only do I have a great new dealership, we've got service available at less wait time than anyone in town. 16 service days and immediate abundance available. Plus a 2025 Hyundai Tucson SE, $288.75 per month and 3.99% available for 72 months. 2025 Hyundai Santa Fe SEL, $349.89 per month and 3.99 up to 60 months available. And a 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT all-wheel drive, $37,180. That's $5,000 off MSRP.
Plus America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah, or shop online anytime. HyundaiMountMoriah.com. Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Unleash the power. Make every mile count in your new Volkswagen from Gossett Volkswagen on the bike. Available right now, 2025 Jetta SN 2025 Taos, 4.9 for 60 months. 2025 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport, 3.9% for 60 months. And $1,500 loyalty rebate on all 2025 GTIs, Jettas, Taos, Tiguan's, Atlas, and Atlas Cross Sport. Plus $5,000 off 2024 Atlas Cross Sport SELR line. But only 2 left, so you better hurry to Gossett Volkswagen. 1875 Covington Pike or online anytime at GossettVWMemphis.com. That's Gossett, charging forward and charging less every day. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Volkswagen.
See dealer for complete details. 2024 Atlas RC 226135, MSRP 51733, RC 227219, MSRP 52133. Must finance through Volkswagen Credit. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Approved credit dealer stock only.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Good afternoon. A little bit more traffic through Midtown just in the last few minutes on 240 South here at South Parkway. Still not too bad, but it's busier than it was on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385. Starting to crank up already over here a little bit earlier on 40 eastbound at Sycamore View Road. Dandelions Crabgrass Lawn Solution says, hey, give them a call. They'll take care of you. Call here in Memphis at area code 901-867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jack Weiler, once again.
You say you stand by your man. Tell
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local inside our Family Leisure studio as we start our third and final hour. And every single Thursday at this time, we talk Tigers, and we talk them with Greg Gaston.
On Twitter at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant and Brett.
Greg Gaston joins us every Thursday to talk Tigers. Make sure you listen to him every single weekday from 7 to 10 with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. Greg, thanks so much for joining us. Before we get to any Tiger talk, how are things at the Gaston residence? It was an eventful morning.
It really was the very rare day in which I'm on with you guys. And of course, I'm only on once a week, but I'm on with you, but did not participate in my show at all this morning because I was blocked in. Yeah, we got hit with, as the area did, with thunderstorms overnight. And right before I was about to leave my house and pull back from my driveway or onto my driveway from my garage, all of a sudden there was lightning and then a lightning strike of a huge tree, and it came down, and it is massive. And they finally, just moments ago, and they did a great job, cut down that tree, cut it all to pieces, took it away. There's still some things they got to do tomorrow, but I'll be able to get out and go to work, God willing. But it was close, guys. I mean, I look back at it. If I had left the time I normally leave, I could have been crushed by that tree. That's how big a tree we're talking. But somehow it did not hit my house. It did not hit any of the neighbors' house. It was so big it blocked 4 different driveways of 4 different houses. That's how big it was. And it right through the fence separating our cove from the next door cove. So scary situation this morning. I know a lot of people have had the trees down in the past, and some in this most recent storm. There are a lot of trees down in the area, but happy that it's gone now, and hopefully that won't come again for any time soon.
Were you in the garage ready to hit the door to go up to back out, or were you kind of making your way to that area?
I was making my way to that area, but it was about a 2-minute difference from – I'm pretty punctual.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm usually out of there at 6:20, and we have video evidence. I was sent by one of the neighbors the actual ring camera video of when the lightning struck and you saw the tree come down.
Dang.
And it was right at 6:20, and I normally leave at 6:20, but I was still in the house doing a couple of things, and I was a minute or so late. And again, thank God it was late.
Yeah, no kidding.
Whoa, how loud was it?
Brett, I was in the bathroom, but I heard it was so loud. I was like, "What was that?"
This is the Keats, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big boom. I'm like, what the heck was that? And then I had already opened my garage because I thought maybe we'd lose power, and then I wouldn't be able to open the garage and not get to work because of that. Well, I put the garage up about 6 o'clock, maybe 10 of 6 before it started to really hit with the rain and the thunderstorm. And so when I walked over to the door, then I looked out. It was dark, so I put the light on. And I saw, what is that laying across? And then realized, oh my gosh, the tree came down.
Well, you got plenty of firewood for next winter.
It's true. That is true.
Yeah, they took that away. But
I'm trying to go silver lining, Greg.
I know. You know what's interesting? We moved. My wife and I moved to get away from. We had a big piece of property in Cordova and the old in-ground pool and all the trees and all. We got away from that because we didn't want to deal with all those trees and the stuff in the pool and all. And so there's not too many trees around where I live, but this one happened to be in the cove next door, a gigantic tree in that cove that happened to come over and hit our side as opposed to their side. So it's one of those real unfortunate bad luck things.
I know it's very expensive. I know, and they're good. The tree trimmers, tree cutters, they're very expensive.
They are.
But I wish somehow the insurance companies, I know margins are rough out there, but I wish we could work with them on preventative maintenance on some because, whatever it costs maybe to have cut or trimmed that A year ago, if it goes through your house instead of in your front yard, I'm now seeing the pictures, cutting it would have been a lot cheaper and safer than you and Mary replacing a roof in a room.
That's a really, really good point. And we were talking to the gentleman who owns that house, whose the tree was on his property. And so he was out, and he couldn't have been any nicer, and called the insurance and then called the tree service and all that. And he said that he puts in a couple of grand every year to treat the tree. But again, this was a lightning strike because we have the visual evidence. I haven't even put out that evidence. That was something that somebody sent me from one of my neighbors, and it's scary. You hear and you see the lightning strike the tree. So I don't know if there's anything you can do about that, even with preventative maintenance on the trees. But I think it's still a really good point, Brett, that if you do that, maybe you save just a tree getting old, getting a disease, and then coming down on its own.
Yeah, that's wild stuff. For
glad
sure.
y'all okay.
Yeah, definitely glad that you
Thanks.
are safe and doing all right. Greg, earlier this week, the Tiger coaches were out in Lakeland at the Owner's Box Sports Grill for their Tigers on Tour. Said a lot, but in that event, I think afterwards, speaking with media, Penny Hardaway talking about his team, obviously at 12 guys right now with the departure of Felipe Patino, said that they are looking to probably just add one more guy to this roster before, in his mind, it is completed for at least this time being. We know he usually or is not opposed to adding guys mid-season. What'd you make of that after it sounded like some people saying that he could use all 15 of his spots to now maybe only use 13, obviously a 14th if Dane Danger returns?
Yeah, he's probably thinking, and I'm trying to get into his brain here, and he talked glowingly about the bigs, but we know there's a lack of them on the team. So he's probably, I'm guessing he's thinking that, yeah, I could probably add another big if there's a big out there that's available. And we know there's players still available in the portals, just depending on how much they can help you. And then to have those scholarships, we know that for a couple of years now running, he has signed a player mid-season. So you got one in your back pocket. In this case, you got two in your back pocket unless something else comes up later on this summer. So I have no problem with that. And I think it's probably instead of coming out and saying, yeah, I'm going to sign three. I mean, he doesn't know that. He might not even sign one. But my guess would be that he's still looking for one more big to sign. That would get him to 13 and then hold two scholarships again in that back pocket if needed.
Yeah.
Because, again, not to interrupt, but guys, 13 players. Now, I don't know which players will be the starters or the rotation players. Maybe he has an idea already. But all you need is a comparable 8 or 9, and a competent 8 or 9 to do the job. You don't need 12 or 13. We know that he's played a deep roster in years past, but you don't have to have 14 or 15 guys on the roster.
No, that's a good point. Yesterday, I believe it was, the Baja Mar Hoops Championship bracket was officially released. We felt pretty good that Memphis was going to play Purdue in that first game after Matt Painter said on a podcast that they were guaranteed a game against Memphis, but they'll play Purdue in that game the Thursday before Thanksgiving. The second game will follow that, Texas Tech and Wake Forest. The championship and consolation game will be the next night, that Friday, November 21st. Tough matchup against Purdue. It feels like everyone has them in their way too early top 5 for the preseason poll. But what do you make of that matchup, and what do you make of this small field, but it feels like a very competitive field?
Yeah, I don't know a ton about Wake Forest. I know a little bit more about Texas Tech, but I know a lot about Purdue, and they're really, really good. And when you have a point guard who's as good as Braden Smith, and you have bigs like they have, this is going to be a tall task for Memphis. And again, we don't know what type of team it's going to be. And I would imagine it's going to be a competitive team because Penny fields competitive teams. And the last 2 years, they've had a lot of success with the non-conference portion of their schedule. But, look, if they beat Purdue to win that first game and move into the winner's bracket, that's a big accomplishment, guys. That Purdue team is really, really good. So let's say they lose. I would probably favor Texas Tech over Wake Forest. I think Memphis certainly has a chance to split the two to beat. Even if Texas Tech wins, I think they're more not equal per talent per player, but more of the style. But Purdue, again, they don't have Zach Edey, but those bigs are really, really talented, and they got a guy who got it to Edey who can get it to them as well in Smith. So, yeah, I think to win that tournament would be quite the accomplishment.
And quite the assemblage of coaches there at that tournament. Those 4 coaches, really with some good stories. We saw what McCaslin did. We know about Forbes. We sure know about Coach Hardaway and Matt Painter. It feels like it feels like Purdue's almost on a basketball version of Gene Cady and Matt Painter that Iowa football's on with Shades Fry and Kurt Ferentz.
I like that comparison. I've always liked Matt Painter. I don't want to say he's underrated because he's not underrated. I think he's very, very respected. But he's a guy.
And he hung with that '80s down the middle hairstyle the whole time, Greg. That we all knew well.
That's his thing. That's his thing. He's in the Miami Vice, and then
him and Steve Alford. Yeah,
there you go. But I like what he's done. I think he's been a really, really good coach. Steve Forbes is a friend of the morning show. He's been on with us before. I really like him. He's kind of like, well, he used to be. I don't know if he is anymore. Like mini Danny Hurley. He'd get a little volatile. He'd get a little upset at times. But I always liked his coaching and his basketball mind. So yeah, it's a good semblance of coaches, no question.
Yeah, he did run hot, but it felt like he ran more fun hot, where Hurley runs nasty hot.
Yes. That's a good way of putting it. Like I said, I really like Steve.
Well, and it's all the bombs that Hurley throws out. I mean, I learned new words one night sitting behind the UConn bench.
You really do.
But you're right about Forbes. It's more like a fun eruption, a little Mount Eruptus every once in a while. But yeah, I like his. I've always thought he can coach. His X's and O's really good.
Hurley was a symphony of cursing. Only Larry Brown at Kansas one night at Barnhill. I sat behind the Kansas bench when the Razorbacks were playing Kansas. Only Larry Brown could match him.
Well, his motto, I think Danny Hurley, was from a television sitcom that you guys know well in Seinfeld, and a character named Cosmo Kramer who said, "Let the expletives fly." And that's what he does.
They did fly. Speaking of coaches, this year, Ryan Silverfield, he will start year 6. He will coach his 6th year at the University of Memphis. That's 2 more than Mike Norvell. That will match Richard Williamson and Chuck Stobart and Rip Shearer. And there will only be 2 coaches ahead of him in winning and in years coaching. Wow. That's Coach Tommy West and Coach Billy Murphy. And I think if you got outside 25 miles, I mean, just clear the old bridge a little bit, get out of Shelby County, get down to Senatobia, I don't know that the rest of the college football world appreciates it or knows it.
Yeah. 6th year as a head coach, and then a couple of years as an assistant too, right? So is this his 8th overall year with
knows the
program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long, long time. And Brett, you're probably right about that. But I think what's important is, what do other coaches think? And I got to guess there's a lot of respect for Ryan and what he has done. He has the ties to the NFL with the Vikings. But, yeah, from a fan standpoint, outside of the Tiger family, maybe they'd have a tough time if you asked them the trivia question, who's the Memphis Tigers football coach? But I think Ryan has certainly earned his stripes, no pun intended. He's done a great job with the Tigers. And I think they're going to go into this year, no question in my mind, that they will not be the pick to win it. But they need to be there in the end and hopefully get to the championship game, because that has eluded them. That has been the one thing that obviously keeps them up at night, is to get to that championship game. Last year was the season everybody thought they would get there. They got 11 wins, but they weren't able to get to the championship game. This roster is completely different. Doesn't mean it's not as good or even better. And the schedule really is conducive for them to have a good season, because they got the tough opponents, or at least what we think are the tough opponents, on the conference schedule at home. So it's going to be different. You're going to see a lot of different things offensively, a lot of new faces, but it doesn't mean that they can't finally break through and get to that championship game. But I think when it's all said and done, and they have the American Conference Media Days next month in Charlotte, so they're moving it to Charlotte, I think that you will probably have Memphis from the media pick third, pick fourth maybe, but I think third is probably more like it, but you're not going to see them pick to win it.
I don't know who this opposing AAC assistant coach was that had all the splashy quotes for Athlon. Athlon got one from every league, but he started out saying, maybe the most talented roster in this league. They're a quarterback away from winning the league, I think, which is a pretty big position to have questions about. Losing Hennigan is a huge blow for them, and he goes on. I'm liking Brendan Lewis more and more the more I look back at last year and think about what he can do. But this is what Ryan Silverfield, what he's done. Greg, and you were here a lot of years that it wasn't close to this. The baseline of winning is around 8. I mean, that's where we start with the Tigers.
Yes. I remember the days when if you got to 6, man, you were elated.
Oh,
you were going to a
handstands.
bowl game, you broke through. No question. I mean, you can't even consider less than 8 wins. That would be a disaster. So, yeah, 8 wins is the basement. I think it's a year where, again, they're going to be up there, looking at the possibility. I'm not going to sit here and say it right now. I'm not ready to make predictions, but certainly the possibility where they can win double digits. Again, where they can get double-digit wins again. But you hit
know
on the
we'll
head.
pin you down on it on W's and L's.
Oh,
you know
I know. I was
a
thinking
rite
to
of
myself,
passage every August.
Not today. Not it is a rite of passage, but not today. So you guys know probably that we had Brendan Lewis on the show recently.
Yeah.
And first of all, I think he's 23. He is engaged, right? So he's a veteran quarterback who has played well over 34, 35 games as a starter. He's played at Colorado. He's played at Nevada. The offensive line, I continue to hear, and I was out there for a few of the spring practices, some new faces, a couple of guys returning, that's looking good. There's going to be a bunch of RPO that's going to be implemented because that's what he does. So if he can be that leader, and again, unfortunately from a lot of losses at Nevada, a lot of losses at Colorado when he started, if they can turn around and he can dive into this winning atmosphere that Memphis has had and be that leader out there, he doesn't have to go out there and throw 300 yards. He's not Hennigan as a passer, but the total package could be conducive for them to win a lot of games. So, yeah, a lot of pressure falls. And again, that's the assumption that he starts. And, he knows he's in a battle right now, and nothing has been determined. Let's make that straight. Let's get that straight. But, again, you go out there and you get a veteran player who's coming in for that last year. He expects to be a starter at quarterback. And then, of course, you have a lot of questions with the receivers. They're all new. The tight ends are new. You got running backs, including Sutton Smith, who unfortunately has been injured for parts of or all of. Last year was basically all of last season, and then the year prior he had injuries. Can these guys come through? A lot of questions on the defense. But I like the leadership and the veteran savvy of Lewis stepping in. Even though he hasn't been at Memphis, he's been around the college game for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. The reporting, the story that came out from Pete Thamel on June 15th, talking a lot about Pac-12, talking about Texas State maybe being on the move soon to Pac-12, but also had a section about Memphis, and in that section talking about that it had been talked about amongst the Pac-12 of Memphis joining the conference as football only, all of their other sports going to the Big East, but also that nothing would happen until the 2027-28 season. What did you make of that story from Pete Thamel?
Right. For Memphis to get out of the conference, first of all, you got to give a couple of year notice. Mm-hmm. There's a big penalty if you leave early. So there's that. We've talked about it a lot. I am not a big fan of splitting up sports, but if it was something where basketball, and that Rick Pitino had come out and said they need to add some teams, and Memphis would be perfect. If they got all their sports, their Olympic sports, basketball into the Big East, and then the Pac where the money was good enough and they played football only, that would work. It would work. I'm not sure if they would want to do it. It would work. Now, their goal is still down the road. If there's more expansion, hopefully there will be, that they're going to get their name called and maybe land in the Big 12 or the ACC. But again, they've been hoping and wishing for that for a long, long time. The reality is right now that they're stuck in the American, and I don't see them leaving again unless this TV rights package, this media rights package from the PAC is that good, and they are interested in bringing them in for football only, and they have a deal ready to go in the Big East. It has to be pretty much simultaneously, right? You can't commit to the PAC and go, yeah, we'll play football only, and then be, oh, what do we do with everybody else? It's not like Tim Pernetti's going to want to keep you around if football leaves. So you have to have a lot of parts moving at the same time. And Dr. Ed Scott's a very intelligent guy, but I'm not going to say that door is closed because it's not. I think Thamel's right. For a couple of years from now, but they're hoping that maybe the opportunity is beyond that, and it is something like a Big 12 or an ACC invite. Again, people listening right now are probably thinking like pipe dream, but you just never know.
Yeah. Greg, I can't wait another couple of years. I don't know how many I have left. It's got to hurry up and happen.
I'm with you, Brett. I'm with you.
Yeah, well, hopefully, soon we get at least some news. That would definitely be nice. Well, Greg, as always, thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll do it again next Thursday.
And glad y'all are safe, Greg.
Thank you very much, Brett. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Greg Gaston with us every week. Let's hope Athlon's wrong on every bowl prediction I'm looking at.
Oh, geez.
As the Tigers playing in the Boca Raton Bowl against James Madison. Okay. I've seen James Madison and Memphis right in there in the mix for being the group of 5 team as that their representative, and that's the rub. And I said that last year, and I was trying to be catty when I said it. I said the Tigers with one loss, it ended up being 2, but with one loss could go from playing for it all in the, playing in that first weekend of the campus games or to the Toasters Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Well, it happened.
That's how it goes. Being that group of 5. I mean, it's either getting it all and being that group 5 representative, or you go to whatever conference has your bowl ties.
Did you ever think we'd get to where we wouldn't want to go to Boca?
Well, yeah, it happened awfully fast.
Athlon's has Arkansas in the Birmingham Bowl against South Florida. That would be goodbye to Sam Pittman. Mm-hmm. Liberty Bowl has Auburn and Kansas.
Ooh.
Kansas here a few years ago against Arkansas, and Auburn hadn't been here since 84.
Wow.
When they played and defeated Arkansas. Hugh Freeze come to the Liberty Bowl. Does he make it? Or have they made a change for recruiting and all that?
I think he probably makes it.
I think so too, because of the dynamic of the money out there right now. Do you really want to be the whole staff turnover thing?
No.
But also at Auburn, they cannot let Kalen DeBoer get running room.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. But
because they waited forever for Nick Saban
that's
to leave.
True. That's very true. But hey, Freeze. What's the one thing he has down right now? It's look at our recruiting classes and look at our transfer portals.
He is a prolific recruiter.
He's incredible at it, and he knows how to sell it. And so I think even if it is a maybe a 6-7 win season and you end up at a bowl like the Liberty Bowl or somewhere else, I still think based on recruiting and stuff like that, he can still say, hey, we're moving in the right direction. We weren't bowl eligible last year. We're moving in the right direction, and I think that will keep him safe.
Tennessee projected by Athlons to go to the Music City Bowl, big yawn for them, to play Brett Bielema in Illinois. Ole Miss in the Duke's Mayo Bowl against Georgia Tech. I may throw up just at the idea of that, but if you make me eat mayonnaise, I know I will.
How does Lane Kiffin react to getting mayonnaise dumped on him? That's what happens to the winning coach. I mean, you gotta get mayonnaise dumped on your head. You'll be around. I mean, you with your post game duties, you'll be close to the mayo dumping, right?
I'm not going to get near any mayonnaise.
Would you interview him before or after the mayonnaise?
I would hope before.
Well, I don't know what order it goes.
But I'm sorry to all these bowls. That's just not the goal for everybody. It's not Boca. It's not the Liberty. It's not Duke Mayo. It's not Birmingham. It's not Music City. It is a playoffs world.
Yeah, we talked about it last year. I mean, in leading up to the first 12-team college football playoff of, there's going to be a lot of bowls that are good bowls that teams are going to say, we don't want to go there. We're mad that we're going there because all we want is to go to the playoffs.
Brian, I was at one last year. I was at a great bowl, legendary bowl, the Gator Bowl.
You were.
And, man, wheels up that morning after. I was so glad.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
let's get home.
It's never going to feel the same because that goal now has shifted, and it is now getting into that college football playoff. Well, we're going to get to a break here in a second. Before we do that, let me remind you about our 5 o'clock sponsor. It's Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City. Jaguar Bluff City has been the premier Jaguar dealership for the greater Memphis area since 1984, and their talented team is ready to help you find your next perfect vehicle at unbeatable rates. Swing by Jaguar Land Rover Bluff City today and check out the new 2025 models like the 2025 Range Rover Sport, the 2025 Range Rover Velar, and the 2025 Defender. Test drive the Range Rover Sport, where luxury meets performance. It's a perfect mix of style, performance, and versatility, with options ranging from 360 horsepower up to 635. It's also available as a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle with $7,500 federal tax credit when leased with approved credit. Take a look at the Range Rover Velar, powered by mild hybrid technology and enhanced with the latest well-being features and fully connected entertainment system. The Range Rover Velar is the ultimate luxury compact crossover. Purchase yours today and get special 4.4% for 72 months financing available with approved credit. Don't forget about the Defender, available in multiple models to fit your needs. The Defender is built for the modern explorer, and Jaguar Bluff City is offering special interest rates for 60 and 72 months on various models. Give them a call, 877-259-6169. Go online to jaguarbluffcity.com, but head out there, test drive these vehicles. 6335 Wheel Cove, just off of Quince for Bluff City Jaguar. Well, let's get to another break, and when we return, it'll be time for What's Trending.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And in all, just say, Alexa,
South, if you're looking for a great deal, get to Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat for the employee pricing plus sales event. 2025 Dodge Hornet GT. Buy it for $26,457 or $344.68 a month. That's over $5,000 off MSRP. 2025 Jeep Compass Latitude 4-wheel drive. Over $6,000 off MSRP at $23,541 or $297 a month. And 2025 Ram 1500 Tradesman Crew Cab 5'7" box rear-wheel drive. Over $11,000 off MSRP at $36,869 or just $511.87 a month or 1.9 for 72s available. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike or online at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
TS3A 46076, MSRP 31590, Compass ST 567703, MSRP 29765, Ram SN 728 346, MSRP 48260, includes all rebates and incentives, TF 895, excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Forever, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels
The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
This traffic brought to you by Raleigh Tire Auto Service, your local family-owned business for over 60 years.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. A couple of EMS calls in the last few minutes. Still some Midtown traffic to deal with on 240 South at South Parkway, I-40 here at Danny Thomas across the I-40 bridge on over into West Memphis, Crittenden County. It's been in pretty good shape so far. Just busy right now out here on all the major outbound routes. Dandelions, crabgrass, Lawn Solutions says, hey, just give us a call. We'll take care of you. Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you live and local as we got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending. A handful of things trending this afternoon. One thing trending, the Cardinals could win both games in doubleheaders. In a good spot right now, up 4-1 over the White Sox, looking for the doubleheader sweep.
The sweep in Chicago on the south side as well.
Yeah, it would be the whole thing. So.
Again, I wish we could play the White Sox more often.
It'd be nice.
Sorry, Connor.
It's okay. It's okay. He'll be all right. He knows the drill. He knows where they're at right now.
Playing for the future on the south side.
That is definitely the truth. And he certainly pays attention more to the prospects than he does to the guys out on the
y'all are going to see the AAA team, aren't you?
Yeah, they're in town for his birthday. So on
Durham?
his birthday. No. Who are they? It's Charlotte, the Charlotte Knights.
Okay.
So I knew it would click at some point. But yeah, Charlotte coming to town the week of his birthday. We'll be there, and we'll see. I guess
Durham's Tampa Bay.
Durham is Tampa Bay. That's correct. So yeah, they all get a little confused there. All those very similar teams. But
how many games will y'all see?
We'll at least see one on his birthday. We'll probably go out there at least one or two more times during the week with him being here all week. But at the very least, I know all his friends are going on his actual birthday.
Have you been any this year?
I've not. I have not been to a game. I've been to, I think we've talked about it before, I've been to the ballpark for an event, but I've not been to an actual game. So no, but I hope I'll get out there before July 13th, but we'll see. I'm not going to.
And the biggest crowd of the year will be when they host either the 3rd or the 4th. Right. I don't know which one they have.
Yeah, I think it's
last year was on the 3rd.
Yeah, I think it's the 4th this year. But I'm not positive. I know it's one of those
everybody
days.
In minor league gets one or the other.
That's right. Yeah, so that'll be a great crowd for sure. I know a lot of people will be out there. We talked a lot about the NBA Finals earlier. Game 6 tonight. Do they stretch it to 7, or is this wraps tonight?
I think they stretch it, and I hope they do, and I think they will with or without an effective Tyrese Halliburton. I hope he is effective, but if they could get a working lead and rest him and really put everything into tomorrow, Game 7, that's what I'd like to see. I want it as a consumer. I want a Game 7, but I'm also a little bit, I think, more for Indiana than Oklahoma City, but no preference. If Oklahoma City gets it, look, they've been the best since October, since the season started until now, and usually the best gets rewarded.
Yeah, no, they've been awesome,
especially at 7-game series.
Yeah,
you just don't steal 1 in 7.
No, it's hard. And we saw it, in this series. They go and they win They win game one, or the Pacers win game one. Pacers win game three, and it's looking like they're in a great spot. And then just like that, the Thunder, come right back and win the next two games and are in complete control. And so it is very quick how everything can happen in the 7-game series. So yeah, I mean, the Thunder have been a lot of fun, and I think they probably wrap it up tonight. I just any way that Tyrese Halliburton is out there, I don't think he's going to be anywhere near 100%. And we saw the way they were able to defend him. I think you're going to see a lot of the same tonight with them just trying to completely get him out of the game.
With him not effective, who has to emerge?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it's going to almost have to be by committee. I mean, you're going to need multiple guys to step up.
They're really kind of a committee team, even with him excelling. But they have to be.
That's right. They got to be, and it's got to
be. Siakam probably chairman of the committee.
Absolutely. I mean, Siakam has to look like all-star Siakam out there, and you got to have everyone locked in. One of the big talking points about this series has been Indiana's bench has looked better than OKC's bench a lot of nights. They've outscored the Thunder's bench a lot of nights. You're going to need that tonight. You're going to need Aaron Nesmith hitting shots. You're going to need Nembhard not turning the ball over and being a facilitator and hitting shots. You're going to need Mathurin to come off the bench and have one of those, maybe not the Benedict Mathurin game, but something close to the Benedict Mathurin game. I mean, it's going to have to be everybody locked in tonight and really getting it from a lot of different sources.
Oklahoma City, as we talked about earlier with Keith Smith, and even before that, they just have so many different options that if they have that great offensive night with that patented defense, you're not going to beat them. They can beat you a lot of nights with just one or the other.
That's right. Yeah, and they've shown that a lot. It's been a lot of, it's been good performances offensively, but it's just been, we're going to lock you down and make this impossible for you. They've also had those performances out there where, every player's in double figures and SGA has 30 points out there, and it's like, okay, how are you even going to compete with them and what they do offensively? So there's just so many ways they can hurt you. There's so many players on that Thunder team that can hurt you. It just makes it so difficult to really try to beat them anyway, and certainly difficult to go out there and really try to blow them out.
Kind of so much for no news during the finals. We've had a trade. Mm-hmm. We have rumblings of other trades, and we had the Lakers sale.
Yeah, no, it's been a
so
very
much for not stepping on the finals.
That's right.
I think that some of that is because of Smallville.
Could be. Yeah, it certainly could be. I think especially when you have the Lakers being sold. I mean, that is the ultimate mega.
The Lakers couldn't have waited 10 days for that.
They could have. They definitely could have. But it's I think one of those things that it happens, and I know it does affect, but I wish it didn't. I wish that people would realize that this is the NBA Finals and it's good basketball out there. And sure, that stuff can happen, but it's not going to take away from the actual play on the court. But we're seeing ESPN show that these type of things are taking away from them talking about the action on the court, with them wanting to spend entire segments talking about the Grizzlies and what their next move is instead of the NBA Finals.
And if we get to a Game 7, we'll have that Sunday, and we'll talk a lot about it Monday into Tuesday, then draft Wednesday. Yeah. That won't be a lot of time kind of in the spotlight for that winner.
No, I mean it's so quick in the NBA, and especially if you get these long series where if it goes 7 games, I mean it is really turn around and let's get ready for the draft. And so yeah, I mean it's one of those things where I think it'll almost be better if we can end this tonight and really celebrate the Thunder, and then next week we're all about the draft. But however it happens, it's going to be one thing right after the other as we get to really the NBA offseason.
And as long as the draft is going to stay this way, is right on the heels of the finals, you have to make so many moves around draft picks and the importance of it. You're going to have it diminishing the victor's time in the spotlight even some. Look, we're getting ready to make big dinner time decisions, and we got a lot of great choices, including a lot of great locations for Jason's Deli. Locations on Ridgeway Road across from MUS, at Poplar and Highland by the University of Memphis, down in Olive Branch, out in Cordova. If you're driving home right now, you've got to be close to one of those. Make it easy on you and the rest of the family. Stop by and get plenty of everything for dinner tonight. All that great food, healthy, first franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. And it's all about choice at Jason's Deli. regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your own via the build your own selection, you'll be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from, that great salad bar in every location for you to prepare it however you would like. We're with over 30 items to choose from, whether you're dining in, getting it to go, getting it delivered. It's wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and for any occasion, watching games or groups or get-togethers, let them do the catering. Step aside, same-day and last-minute orders welcomed. That's when they really excel. A variety of delicious choices for all three meals and all those great locations. You can count on that salad bar in every one, and you also can count on the complimentary free ice cream at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Catering anytime, anywhere. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, we need to get to our final break of the day, and when we return, we'll wrap things up with Moe's and Humdinger's Crunch Time.
And it's the perfect time to grill, chill, and save with Choates. Install a new generator, tankless water heater, or Carrier HVAC system, and you'll get your choice of a free green egg grill or 36 months no-interest financing. Stay powered during storms, enjoy endless hot water, and slash your cooling costs this summer with a high-efficiency Carrier system, and grill some slow-smoke barbecue on us. But hurry, this special ends soon. And if you're dealing with plumbing or electrical problems, Choates is here for you too. Give us a try and take $60 off your repair. Leaky faucet, clogged drain, broken outlet, lights flickering? Call Choates and save $60 on your plumbing or electrical repair service. Call 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com today. And remember, Choates, let our family serve your family.
When you're hungry for good meat, trust the family that has been feeding Memphis since 1967. Charlie Hogan and the Triangle Meat Company, formerly Children's Meat Market. Trust Triangle Meat for fresh beef, hamburger, and roast. Trust Triangle Meat for delicious pork ribs, chops, and butts. And trust Triangle Meat for tender chicken you'll love. Eating lots of pork, Triangle Meat Company has all the meat you need. Shop Triangle Meat Company, 8 to 5, Monday through Saturday, 4790 Summer Avenue, 901-683-1192. Fresh and frozen, big or small, trust Triangle Meat Company.
KFC Phillips are back. 3 delicious meals for just $7 each. That's great news for everyone. Except the driver in F1 the movie who only gets 2.5 seconds for a pit stop. 2.5 seconds? That's not enough time to indulge in juicy original recipe chicken. Oh, and he's got creamy mashed potatoes, sweet pie poppers, and a medium drink. And the rest of us can take as long as we'd like to enjoy any KFC $7 fill. Then see F1 the movie starring Brad Pitt. Only in theaters June 27th. Rated PG-13. Prices and distribution areas plus taxes, taxes, and fees extra.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop Sissy'sLogCabin.com or stop by any of our 7 locations. Begin the rest of your life brilliantly. Only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like a good old day.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stone over here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering is our specialty. Miriam's and Justin Corky's cater their events for 40 years. As we make it easy for you and delicious for your guests. Whether it's 50 people or thousands, our experienced team comes to your location, sets up, serves, and ensures everyone enjoys a Corky's all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $7.99 per person. You can't beat it. With 40 years of experience, it's easy to see why customers choose Corky's time and time again for all of their catering needs. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to book us for your next order.
Encore flavor. Corky's barbecue.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner.
Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations. Fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. I'd sure love to see you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Humdinger's Corporate Catering. Enjoy tacos made with crunchy slaw, grilled fish, and chicken, and the best taco sauce in town. Find out more, call Jenny Nash at 901-606-3172.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest Crunch Time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, high school.
It's obviously Crunch Time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Crunch Time is brought to you by Moe's Southwest Grill. Need catering? Moe's Taco Truck is always ready to cater for you. Just give Jenny Nash a call at 901-606-3172. Moe's.com is your go-to for all your taco crunch time emergencies. Well, Brett, what I learned today, a couple of things. The first thing is it is official. Tyrese Halliburton will play tonight. Rick Carlisle reporting it to the media ahead of Game 6. He will give it a go tonight. Now the question will be, what does he look like out there in that game tonight? But the other thing I learned today, something we talked about earlier, is the College World Series Finals. They're set, LSU and Coastal Carolina. It feels like it's going to be a really fun finale to the college baseball team. You've got two programs that this isn't anything new to them in terms of winning and winning at the biggest stage. Coastal Carolina looking to do what they did in 2016 and also avoid losing since April. And on the other side, LSU looking to continue just a program of really excellency, going for their 8th College World Series National Championship and doing it again after doing it a couple years ago in 2023. Would win 2 of the last 3 if they can get it done. We remember Paul Skeens and those epic performances from that team a couple years ago. So either way, it feels like this is going to be a fun series, and either way, we're going to have a lot to talk about whoever wins this championship.
Yeah, UT last year, LSU 2 years ago. What I learned, there were a lot of things astounding about that end of the Arkansas game, but then to be listening to the Arkansas broadcast and hear the Arkansas announcer post-game on the Arkansas airwaves saying that this team just couldn't hold up the pressure, that it got to them, that they broke. It was just too much for them. All that needs to be said, but not on your own team's airwaves. He hosts a show in Northwest Arkansas, just like me with Ole Miss or Dave with the Tigers, Greg with the Tigers, any comparison you want to make. These airwaves here in Memphis, we've got to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly. But when you're on their airwaves, I don't think you go there. It was all true, but I just don't think you go there.
Yeah. Absolutely. What I could have done without today, it's this Ace Bailey story that just seems like every day we're getting more information, and it's getting worse for him. We knew that the only visit and workout he had set up was with the Philadelphia 76ers, and then late last night, just less than 24 hours before the visit was supposed to start, it came out that he had canceled his visit. Now, with less than a week to go before the draft, he has not worked out or met with any teams. I liked what Keith Smith said. Maybe this is him, thinking, or maybe some team has told him, we want to draft you, and maybe he's trying to tank his stock with all the other teams so he can weasel his way into that spot. But it's just very weird to see this, and it just doesn't seem like a good decision going into the draft to not work out, not meet with anybody. And
he'll go where he gets drafted.
Oh, he absolutely will. And it's going to be the wild card on draft night. Again, this is a guy that going into last season, we talked about can't miss, 2nd or 3rd pick. And now I'm seeing some reports saying he could drop all the way to pick number 10 on draft night.
No fuddy-duddy am I, but I could do without a lot of these wild Stanley Cup celebrations. The cup's already been dented. It's pure debauchery and public drunkenness. Imagine when poor Canada finally snaps this streak, what it's going to be like when they celebrate. Because it is really pent up.
It might be a year of celebrating. They might do a tour around the entire country of Canada and show that thing off. I mean, that's I haven't thought about that, but you're exactly right. That will be electric. Where are you being tonight?
Game 6, and maybe the last night of the NBA that matters. I know we have preseason until mid-October. I hope the schedule makers don't do this to us. If Oklahoma City wins it all, I hope we're not the fodder there on opening night next year. Well. Tomas Isolo doesn't deserve to start his permanent head coach status like that.
No, certainly not. That would not be a fun way to start your head coaching career. But, yeah, we'll see if tonight is the last night, if it's the final game of the season. It needs to be a big performance, a big showing by Indiana if they're going to extend it. How could you beam anywhere else other than that game tonight? Some baseball tonight as well to watch.
Yeah, we know Halliburton's available. Now let's see how effective he'll be. Poor Rockies. They were on pace they were set to have their longest winning streak. It got broken. Also, red-hot Rays against the Orioles.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun night watching the baseball, watching a ton of Game 6. Plenty to watch tonight. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.